I think that's working. Okay. I had to wrestle with this freaking image. TikTok takes, like, if you're using your desktop, I have this huge margin on the top and the bottom. It's ridiculous. I'm so frustrated right now. So you guys probably weren't able to read in the past lives, but I think I fixed it so that you can actually read everything in the image. Although when people watch the replay of this on YouTube, they get my version, so you'll see the margins I'm talking about. It's pretty frustrating. Welcome in. We're going to give it some time, see if we can get some people in here. And today, a lot of people, like to think about people with PTSD or, dogs, cats, when we think about those that who are affected negatively by fireworks and such. And that got me to thinking, I'm like, it's interesting that we recognize that our companions can feel something similar to us. They have a response to something similar to how we have a response. And that, in the human we care about, in the dog we care about, why don't we care about that in all the other animals that we use? Yeah, protein deficient background. Yeah. So what I'm trying to get to though is what makes us matter. What makes us matter makes them matter. They have that as well. So how do we morally justify using someone? How do we morally justify violating someone without their consent? How do you morally justify not living vegan? Nations. Okay, I don't know what that means. Welcome in, guys. I'm definitely bringing people up, but you got to be over 18. Yes, but wouldn't it be preferable to not have to use the animals and get everything you want? If so, why aren't you striving to not use them? Recognize that they suffer, that they want to live. Why don't you do that right now? Actually, pigs do dream. They do have egos. They have little personalities. Some of them are more, friendly. Some of them are more not friendly. Some of them have spunky quirks to their personality. Some of them like to decorate where they live. Pigs are actually one of the smartest animals on the planet. So, yes, but what about the animal's choice? That's what I'm talking about. I understand that you have a choice to do something. I have the choice to go slap my neighbor, right? But I better have a moral justification for it. But do you have to use animals in your religion? That's what you should ask yourself. And there's vegan cheese. And biologically speaking, we should aim to eat more plants anyway. It seems to be what's healthier. Oh, it's going faster. We do matter. Yes, but we have moral agency. We know what's right and wrong. We know that we don't need to use animals. So we should act on that moral agency, stop using animals, respect them how we would like to be respected if we were in their situation. There's no guest. I'm just talking to the chat. Plants are not sentient. They don't have a brain or a central nervous system. Actually, they're finding it was more about us cooking and potentially cooking tubers and starchy root vegetables. That's probably what made our brains grow. But I don't deny that we used animals. The point is, today we don't need to. there's evidence that we don't need to. So, crop protection is self-defense, 1. And 2, we can improve it so we don't have crop deaths, put walls, indoor gardening, etc., right? And another thing is that most of these crop deaths are actually attributed to animal agriculture, as most plants that we are growing in those big monocrops are being fed to the animals that you use. So I agree, we should reduce and also eliminate crop deaths. But that starts with you going vegan. You should get a vegan burger. They're so good. I actually have some right now and some pineapple. I'm going to make a teriyaki burger. I had one yesterday. Oh, they're so good. There's also vegan steak, and it's also fire. But the point is, there's someone suffering. Let's say we didn't have these great alternatives. When I first went vegan, we didn't have them. I still chose to go vegan because, I didn't want to be the one that's causing someone to be shaking in a cage or to be suffering and to have a short life when they wanted to live. Yes, I hate plants, therefore, chickens are sentient. They're very, very smart creatures. They can remember up to 100 faces, if I remember correctly, which is ironic. They make preferences. They have individuals they prefer to be around, friends, They care about their babies. They're very maternal. Chickens they purr like cats when you cuddle them. So humans are more like scavengers. Yes, we can eat a lot of things, but the morality comes in when there's a victim. Do we have to make a victim? No. Then why are we doing this? Just because we can? I mean, I have a hand here that I can make a fist, right? That's my biological right now to go punch people in the face because I have this. I can do it. Gives me joy. No, that's silly. Yes, we have teeth. That doesn't mean you can't just eat plants. And if you're talking about canines, if that's what you're trying to get at, herbivores have huge canines. I mean, look at gorillas, elephants, rhinos, hippopotamus, sorry, not rhinos. Yeah, but what morally justifies not being vegan? It doesn't matter what an animal would do. They're what we call a moral patient. There's someone that deserves a moral consideration. They don't need to understand morality to be a moral patient, but they are sentient. So moral agents, those of us that can weigh out what's right and wrong, have a responsibility or at least a moral obligation to, at minimum, not exploit those that are vulnerable to us. Yeah, so the thing is, we could just not use animals at all. Hey, Raven Dragon. You got to be over 18. Are you over 18?
47. Oh, 47.
Welcome up.
Thank you.
Excuse me. How do you morally justify not being vegan?
Well, because me personally, I'm a Christian, and the Lord provided us animals down on earth to be able to eat. Animals such as bear or wolves would eat us in a heartbeat.
Okay,
We are allowed. It's kind of like a dog-eat-dog world.
Hold on.
You know?
Okay, so first we got religion, and then we got animals eat animals, right?
No. Freeze. I'm talking about like if we were to go to a national park.
Yeah, animals eat animals is what you just said.
We don't seem to have a problem.
You just said that.
With that.
Okay.
But we can't eat them.
Calm down. I'm responding to your responses, okay? We can continue. You can't shotgun them all at me. Okay. So first you said your Lord, and then second you said a bear will eat a dog or you, right? So let's start with those two, and then I'll let you continue. So first your religion.
Didn't say dog. Wait, I didn't say dog.
Okay. First, your religion. Do you have to consume animals for your religion? For example, could I join your religion as a vegan?
You can join our Christianity as a vegan if you choose to do so.
Okay, I don't have to use animals though, right? I can be vegan.
Yes.
Okay, so your religion really has nothing to do with it. Just because your Lord gives you permission doesn't mean you have to do it. So that's not a moral justification. Second, you said animals will consume us. So I was just talking about moral agency versus moral patience. We know what's right and wrong, right? We're weighing out our preferences and deciding what's right and wrong, how we want to interact with people and how we want people to interact with us. Those are moral agents. Moral patients are more like children. They may not understand morality. They may understand morality, right? But the point is that they're sentient and they deserve moral consideration from moral agents and not to be taken advantage of just because they're vulnerable. Would you agree that an adult should not take advantage of a child?
Of course, that's a stupid question. Of course it is.
Right. I know it sounds silly, but I'm trying to lay down, hold on. I'm trying to lay down where we are, where we relate. So we both agree that a moral agent shouldn't take advantage of a vulnerable moral patient like a child, correct?
Two different things, but yes.
Okay. So then what is it in
We're
your
just talking
mind?
about food here, man.
No, we're talking about animals. Do you understand that animals are sentient?
May I ask you something? What gives
Do you understand that animals are sentient?
Yes.
What does sentience mean?
I have no idea. I just know I like meat. Sue me.
Do you want to have a conversation or do you want to just troll?
Well, sure, educate me on what that word means, ma'am.
Okay.
I can also look it up too, do my own
Yeah.
education, but
Yeah, you can look it up too. Sentience just means that somebody, there's a subject having an experience. They're weighing out those experiences and they're deciding if they prefer them or not. They usually prefer to be comfortable and they avoid harm. All sentient creatures share this. We all have this interest in continuing to live, okay? That's sentience. So knowing that animals are sentient, that they want to live and that they can suffer, I'm pointing out that that's similar to humans and that sentience is all we care about in humans. Go ahead.
until I'm sorry, but it is my prerogative to eat deer, cows any way I want until a cow comes up to me and says, please don't eat me.
So it's just
You
about
know,
communication.
because if I were to go to a wildlife and a bear came up to me, I would say, please, I choose plants more than me, please. They're just gonna do it.
Can I do what I want to animals?
Oh my God. If you're hunting like deer, you just don't unalive them for the carcass and the
Can I kick dogs?
horns. No, of course not. That's stupid, ma'am. Please get to the relevancy of the thing. We're
So
talking about food
what if
to eat.
I like to kick dogs and it gives me exercise
Or
and
stupidity.
entertainment? Right. I agree that I shouldn't kick dogs. I'm glad that you agree with me on that. Right. But I'm telling you that you're escalating the violence by taking someone's life when you don't need to.
Oh my God.
Which would
Ma'am,
you
do you-
rather? Which would you rather? Would you rather be kicked or have your life taken?
What do you think?
I think you would rather be kicked.
Open up that vegan brain of yours, unless you should eat
Calm
meat to
down.
expand
Bring
your
it down. Bring it down. Okay, you don't need to
You're
bring in
asking stupid.
insults.
I know what you're doing. I know.
I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to talk about sentient beings. I understand that you really don't want to let go of animal flesh. When you want to have a real conversation, you can come back up, but you're just so upset. You're throwing ad hominems. You're not even listening. You agree with me that kicking a dog is wrong. That's great. I'm glad we started there. Now understand that what if I was about to take their head off, right? You don't want that animal to suffer unnecessarily. That's where we agree. And I'm saying that you are using an animal in a way that harms them in an unnecessary way. You don't need to use them. Just like I don't need to kick dogs. I can kick something else. You can eat something else. Hey Ashton, are you over 18?
Dino Nuggies.
No. So, no. Especially if you're eating Dino Nuggies. You must be like 5. You must have got your mom's phone. Breeze. Hey.
Yeah, hello there.
Hi. Are you over 18?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm 26.
Thank you. How do you morally justify not being vegan?
Yeah, I don't consider animals to be moral agents. That's all.
Oh, okay. I agree with you. They're not moral agents. I would say they're moral patients. Do you know what those are? Breeze.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So, do you know what a moral patient is?
Yeah, you have to be assigned moral agency by a guardian, by someone that has moral agency. If you're a human being, or if you're
No,
an
moral
infant, if you're
agency.
mentally
No, moral agency is just being able to weigh out what's right and wrong. Moral
yeah,
patients are not, they can be moral agents. It doesn't really matter what they understand about morality. Moral patients are
yeah.
just sentient. They have the capacity to suffer, and that's all that matters. So they
Are you
deserve
talking
moral
about moral?
consideration from moral agents. Like
Yeah.
moral agents have a responsibility to moral patients. Okay.
Who made that responsibility? I reject your
Do
premise.
you agree that an adult should not take advantage
Yeah,
of a child? Why?
absolutely, because they're human beings.
But what does that have to do? What's so special about humans?
Our species is capable of moral agency. That's why we offer them value, worth,
So what if this child,
integrity, and
what
dignity.
if this child
Yeah,
had some kind of disorder where they will never be a moral agent? They will forever be a moral patient that needs help.
yeah,
Can I can I,
because
can
in
I take
principle,
advantage of that person?
no, because they are
Why?
in principle of the human species.
What does that matter? What does species matter?
Yeah,
What is
we offer them
species?
moral.
What is
Yeah,
species?
species is a category of the mammal, of the species of animals that exist.
It's about who can
Human
mate with
beings.
each other.
It's about prioritizing
That's what
and
species is. What's a
categorizing
human?
animals.
What's a human?
Yeah.
What's a
A
human?
Homo sapien part of the mammalian primates that is
So,
capable of moral
so
agency and
if we
rationality.
came across
Yeah.
Superman and he
Yeah.
had a mentally handicapped
Impossible, but yeah.
child,
Yeah.
would you morally think that it would be okay to enslave his child?
Superman is a human being or not?
He is not. He's from a different planet.
Okay, we can discuss the morality of aliens when they arrive, depending on their moral
See how you
agency.
can't
If they
answer
are
that?
capable of morality.
It's pathetic.
I don't know if they have
So you
I
think
don't
it's
know if they have
okay?
morality.
You think it's okay to enslave
Yeah.
Superman's mentally handicapped child?
I don't know what the morality of Superman is. I can't offer.
I'm not going to talk to fake actors. I understand that you're debate broing me right now. I think most people can understand the capacity to suffer is what matters, not species. You're basically saying, I'm white, you're black. I will only respect those that are my color, complexion. Gross. They have to be in my species. That's you. That's what you sound like. Hey, Vinus, are you over 18?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So, what morally justifies you not living vegan?
Yeah, well, what morally justifies it for me is the fact that we're omnivores. So in the natural cycle of life, animals get unalived and people get unalived. So I think it's just a natural part of life
Okay, so
for
can I
things to be
enslave
unalived.
humans then? They're gonna die anyway.
No, because we're humans, we're not animals.
What's the difference?
Humans make laws, animals don't make laws.
What about a human that can't make laws?
They still human though.
What is it in humans that you care about? Do you care how smart they are? Or do you just respect
Yeah,
all humans regardless of their abilities?
well, if you're my species, you get a different level of respect
Did you not
than
hear my
other
question?
animals.
What did I say? What was my
You asked
question?
me, you asked me why do I respect and love humans so much. And I
No,
just
no.
told
I
you.
asked you, what in humans is it that you respect? Is it only the intelligent ones? Is it the only ones that look like you? What is it in humans that you respect
Yeah.
so much?
Well, I respect that we share DNA, and I also respect that, like you said, intelligence.
So do you have to
That's a
take a
very a
DNA
great
test
thing.
of everyone before you start respecting them?
No, I just know that
Okay,
all
so what
humans
if
have.
Superman came down here? I mean, I just gave this example. Superman comes down here and he has a mentally handicapped child. Do you think it's moral to enslave his child?
I think they're closer to humans, so no.
They're from a different planet. They're not human at all.
Yeah, but they look like humans. They
Oh,
talk like
so
humans.
it's not about human DNA then. So you're conceding on that. It's not human DNA. It's about how they look. So
It's human DNA.
Superman's child actually,
Intelligence.
hold on. So Superman's child is mentally handicapped, comes out, has 5 legs and 4 arms.
Yeah,
Can we enslave his child now?
we're not gonna discriminate against him because of what he looks. You know what I'm
Oh, so
saying?
it's not about his looks. Do you see how you're not being consistent?
No, it's Superman's child, and
So what
Superman
is it
is an
about
intelligent being.
animals? So what is it about animals that makes it okay for me to do whatever I want to them?
They're not intelligent beings.
So Superman's child, again, is not the same cognition as us. I said this multiple
But it's like
times.
this though. Superman is an intelligent
Superman's
being.
gone.
So if,
Superman left. Superman has gone,
so
or
what? He's still an
so
intelligent
his
being.
child is left on Earth mentally handicapped. Can we enslave his
So what?
child?
He's an intelligent being, and since this child has come from an intelligent,
Oh my God. I'm really frustrated with you guys. I am. I'm really disappointed. You guys are so speciesist. I know that sounds funny to you. I'm sure the word racism sounded funny when it first came out, when someone first said, hey, you're being racist. And they were like, what's that word mean? Right? You're being speciesist right now. Speciesist.
my bad. I like.
You're literally judging someone because of how they look and how they think. You're saying they look different from me and they think differently than me. And because they're vulnerable to me, I can take advantage of them. But for some reason, Superman's child is an exception. Do you see how that's
That is life.
contradicting? It's
That is life
contradicting.
in nature.
That's not life. This is you.
Let me
This
talk.
is
Let me
you
talk.
justifying an injustice.
Let me talk.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. I want to talk to honest people. If you want to have a real conversation, maybe later. But right now, you're a dishonest actor, and I'm just done talking to you. Most people agree you can't do what you want to animals. Can I just kick dogs for exercise? No, because they can suffer. Do I need to take a DNA test to make sure that they're human or not? No. I know that dog can suffer. Priceless content. Are you over 18?
Meat is yummy.
I am honored that you took the time to come out on my platform. Eli Adams, are you over 18?
Oh, shit. Sorry, I didn't know it was 18 plus. I just do.
Okay, that's fine. You can ask your question in the chat. I'm sure there's vegans in there. Hey, Jacob, are you over 18? Hello?
Sorry,
Oh my gosh. I understand you guys are on vacation. Nothing else to do. Oh, Kelly, it says we're friends. Hey.
Hi, yeah, we are friends.
Yes. Actually, I do recognize you now that I see your picture. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, so I just want to say I'll be trying to be really quick about it. I was not vegan until like less than a week ago, and I felt all the same reasons that everyone else is saying to support eating a meat and dairy and animal use diet.
Mhm.
I like the taste of steak. I like hamburgers. I like chicken. You know, I like all of those things. But I will tell you, after watching Dominion again, and I saw it before, it completely just changed me 100%. And if you're
Yeah.
worried about not being able to afford it, people say that a lot. Well, I'm on disability. I barely get any money, and it's probably going to change based on what's going on. So,
yeah. Oh my
yeah, let's
God.
not even think about
I
that.
know, right? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yes.
So,
Continue, please.
and I'm able to afford switching what I normally eat for vegan substitutes. I love mac and cheese, so I'm finding a good vegan mac and cheese. I, do like meat, so I'm trying to find a good meat substitute that will support my diet and health needs. I eat yogurt a lot, and I found a great yogurt, for it. You can
Yeah.
find a lot of the same stuff
Yeah.
in the supermarkets, or actually at Walmart. I found most of my stuff at Walmart. So yeah, it's just not these animals when they go through the slaughter process, even if you say Dominion's fake AI, whatever, even if you say that, because people are saying that in the chat,
Oh,
even
is
if you
that?
say that, yeah, even if you say that, animals are still being slaughtered and treated completely unfairly in that way. And even if you say, oh, I have a homestead, I kill my own animals, well, you're still killing them when they just want to live, a happy life until they die on their own.
Right.
And yeah, that's kind of just what I wanted to say. I was the same way just less than a week ago. And when you really think about it, no one wants to admit that they are just morally wrong, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong to do that. It's wrong to support that business. It is 100%. And people just don't have the guts or power want to admit that they just want to have their steaks and eat them, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They're just a lot of them. You're right. Haven't really been exposed to the truth, and I mean, even Dominion is not AI, but I would then challenge anybody that is in the chat saying that. Find me then footage that's real.
Yeah, they're
Find.
saying it's embellished. So, and I'm like, embellished and being AI created is different. And they haven't even watched, yeah, Coco, you haven't even watched it yourself. So, how can you form an opinion? You just want to believe and blindly follow others. That's
Yeah.
what happened with, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say its word, the Holocaust. Everyone blindly just followed what Hitler wanted. And look what happened. That's what
Yeah.
happens when you blindly follow and don't make up your opinions for yourself based on what you observe and see.
Yep. Exactly.
So I just want to say that. And it's not easy. Like, this is hard for me. Like, trying to change over is really, really hard. But I'm going to do it anyway because I care about animals who are being killed in awful ways. Being unalived in awful ways.
Have you looked up any like vegan challenges?
I haven't, but I think I will today.
I was gonna say, if you do, that might, just because it's nice to have support of a professional. Like, some of them give you access to a free dietitian, and they can help you find foods that are in your area that fit your budget and your specific needs. And it's just, it's a free resource. So I would definitely Google vegan challenges, and if that's something that you need help with, because obviously, finding foods in your area can be annoying because there's so many stores sometimes, and I just like that they can find out what's in your area for you. So
yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
hell yeah.
So
If you want,
guys,
you're welcome to sit up here if you want, but I also understand if
I'd
you want
love
to just
to
hang
sit
out.
up here, please.
Awesome. Okay,
I have nothing better going on.
Yeah, no, I love having
And
vegans up on my panel.
I'll be quiet when I need to. I'm not the kind to necessarily jump in and just
I
talk
mean,
over people. So
you're a kind soul. I wouldn't be offended if you spoke up while I was talking. Okay, so if you feel like there's something that needs to be mentioned, you bring it up, because already you made great points. I wasn't pointing at Dominion at all to these trolls. So
yeah, and
I was like, oh my
is
God.
scary too. I watched that, and that's short. It's much shorter. Dominion's like 2 hours, but it's very well worth the watch if you're considering veganism.
Yeah.
Like I was, and just watched it and just trying not to cry. Just it's.
Yeah, it's intense for sure. Yeah. But it's because if you want to know what you're demanding, it's not a gotcha film. It's showing you what is allowed under those standard practices, under those labels, grass fed, free range, humane
Yeah.
raised, whatever.
Even
Small
if it says
farms.
it's humane unaliving, it's really not
Yeah, there's
humane
no
at
way to
all.
know. There's no way to
Yeah.
know. That's what the slaughterhouse footage tells you. Is like there are some animals that are absolutely knocked out, but it like the point from veganism's perspective is like it doesn't matter if they had a horrible unaliving or not. The point is you took life from someone who didn't need to be unalived. You know.
Yeah, Cajarno, I'm not angry and miserable. I'm happy.
They're gonna say that. They're always gonna say that.
I know.
I'm gonna bring someone up. Are you ready?
Yep.
I'll start out, but you just you chime in if you want.
Okay.
All right. Brandon, I feel like we've spoken before. I've seen that name, Brandon Phillips.
Hello.
Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Okay. Have we spoken before?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. It's probably just the combination. I've seen a lot of Brandons and a lot of Phillips. So
Yeah, my name's actually a pretty common name.
Okay. Yeah, mine is too. I'm Anna, so that's pretty common.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. How do you morally justify living vegan?
So I basically don't eat vegan. The meat gives you necessary. I don't remember if it's the amino acids or if it was. There's something in the meats that our body needs to survive.
Okay. So do you think that vegans just can't live longer than a couple of years or something, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I've been vegan 9 years. And that's
Nice.
anecdotal. That's anecdotal. But so do you know what the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics is?
No, I don't.
That's okay. It's the world's largest organization of diet professionals, and they all came to an agreement that a vegan diet is safe and healthy for all stages of life. They even doubled down on it a couple of years ago, saying that it can help alleviate a lot of our chronic ailments like heart disease. It can help with diabetes, even Alzheimer's.
Really?
So, yeah. But of course, you would need to have a well-planned diet, just like you would with any diet. Most people aren't even aware of what they put in their bodies, right? So most people are actually
Right.
deficient in something, and they don't even know it. So
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because I've never heard of that before.
I would go to nutritionfacts.org. It's just a website that they make videos of studies. You can either go read the study yourself, or you can watch their videos, and they break down like what makes something healthy. And then they basically come to the conclusion that a whole food plant-based diet is the healthier choice based off of the science. And they came up with what's called the Vegan Daily Dozen, and it's just a checklist to make sure you get everything you need in a day. It does include a B12 supplement, but if you really wanted to, you could get it from Whole Foods like seaweed or mushrooms or tempeh. But I take a supplement because it's easy. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a hunting family, so
Okay.
I've spent a lot of time eating meat, and I'm also part Native American, and that right there is like we don't waste any of the animal after it's killed. Like the bones get used, every single part of it gets used.
So there's nothing wrong. Culture is absolutely beautiful. The issue comes to if there's a victim involved, right? Are you using someone else without their consent just for culture, or is it for survival?
Mostly it's for survival.
Okay.
Like
Well,
I don't
survival
I
is
don't
one thing.
actively go out and just like unalive animals or anything. The only time
But
I
do
do
you have a
that is
grocery store?
yeah, but I don't like buying processed meats because I
Okay.
don't agree with
Yeah. You
like the
don't need to eat those.
slaughterhouses
You don't need to eat
and
those. You can eat
all
a whole
those
food.
things.
Sorry. You could eat a whole food plant-based diet without ever touching Beyond Burgers or whatever other brand there is out there. You don't have to touch those at all, in fact. It would be like beans, legumes, maybe tofu and tempeh if you wanted to eat that, but you don't have to. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, legumes, those sorts of things. You don't need to eat any of the things that are processed in the grocery store. Tofu is
So
processed, but it's so minimal. It's just blended.
do vegans eat fish and stuff?
No, because fish are sentient. They actually have nociceptors, which are the nerve endings in our skin that tell us that we're experiencing extreme pain. And the fish have those too.
So it's the vegetarians that eat the meat still, because I know one of the two still eats the fish.
So there's
Vegetarians can sometimes be off. They can just not eat meat at all, but sometimes they're like lacto-ovo, which means they'll still drink milk or eat cheese, or sometimes they'll be like a pescatarian where they only eat fish.
Yeah.
That's what that is about.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Those are all diets too, to be clear, right? Veganism is actually the diet is plant-based, and the reason why vegans eat plant-based is just because they don't want to use animals. So I'm not necessarily here to promote a healthy diet. If you want to eat healthy, that's great. That's why I have this resource here. But I'm just saying, live whatever life you want to live, just don't use animals.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'll have to go look into all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely
You
check out.
definitely should.
Yeah, look at the nutritionfacts.org. That was really mind-blowing to me to learn, what our nutritional needs are, because I wasn't taught properly how to eat. I just was eating out of habit, what my parents taught me. And then I know you said you don't like to buy processed meat at the store, but maybe watch Dominion anyway in case you get hypnotized by those humane labels. So you know what it is that is in the grocery store for the animals, so you know what they went through. I understand you say you hunt, but even in that case, that's somebody who was free, who wasn't doing any harm, and you just took them out when you could have gone to the grocery store and just eaten a can of beans.
Right.
Yeah. So that's just, bear that in mind, that when you're taking someone's life, you could have eaten some beans instead, and they could have continued having experiences.
True.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be preferable if we could live a life without using the animals and still getting all the things that we enjoy?
Yeah, but there
Well,
are
if that
some...
would be preferable, why would it be preferable? Is it because we recognize that these animals are suffering and we don't want to cause them that suffering?
Well, it's not necessarily like that. It's more like you only should eat another
Why?
animal if it comes down to like your survival, like the survival of the fittest type thing.
So
Where
for survival
if I'm gonna die, or if I have to eat
Sure.
this, if I'm about to die because I'm starving or something, and I'm not around anything that I can eat besides an animal,
Yeah, I'm not going to
then
argue
I'm
that.
definitely gonna
Absolutely.
eat that animal.
I would also argue self-defense, maybe another case where, it may be justified that you unalived someone. I wouldn't say it's moral in either case, but justified. Justified in
Right.
self-defense and justified in a survival sense. But if you have options, it's no longer about survival. It's about taste pleasure. It's about your enjoyment, your
Makes
entertainment.
sense.
Yeah. And so someone's losing their life just so you can be entertained for a little bit.
Kind of makes you think of the Romans back in the Colosseum.
Yeah, exactly. Throwing gladiators in there for entertainment, not caring about their well-being.
Right.
Yeah.
And the animals that are involved in that. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I went
like
to
the
the humans
lions and
first.
everything.
Yeah.
But
So-
alrighty, I'm gonna jump off here. I got
All right.
some stuff.
Before
I
you
gotta
go,
get
just
doing.
bear in mind, if you want the animals to be exploited for you to be no more than 0, the only way to do that is to live vegan, okay?
baby steps sometimes too. Sometimes you can just start making minimal switches at first and then transfer over. It doesn't have to be cut dry all at once. If you really need to take your time, you can.
I am going to
Yeah.
say that as long as the goal is veganism, because every time that
Yes.
you are using that animal, someone had to suffer. So baby steps result in someone still suffering. So just keep that in mind as well.
Right.
Yeah. If you
Alrighty,
think
well, you guys
something
have
is
a good
wrong,
day.
you should just stop. I appreciate you being up here, Brandon. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, you guys.
You too.
You too.
Yeah, I'm not really for baby steps. I do understand that if someone is actually motivated, what I would say instead of baby steps, possibly eliminating things as you've used them, because I didn't dump out my fridge. I just kind of used things and then replaced them with the vegan alternative once I ran
That's
out.
exactly what I did.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't want people to think, because baby steps sometimes sound like purchasing less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, I totally get that now.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to bring someone else up. You ready?
Yep.
Awesome. I really appreciate you being up here, Kelly. Really.
Oh,
I do.
absolutely.
Sledron? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Hello? D? I'll call you
Hello.
D. Hey, are you over 18?
Yep.
Awesome. So how do you morally justify not living vegan?
Well, I don't think veganism has any kind of moral high ground over meat eaters.
Okay, so what morally justifies taking the life of someone or using them without their consent?
Did you say someone?
I did.
Oh, okay.
We can start with humans if that's more comfortable for you.
You want to eat a human?
So what morally justifies taking their life or using their body without their consent?
Well, I think, like, as far as evolution goes, like, humans made their biggest jumps when we stood up and started hunting meat.
So you're not going to answer my question? So my question again was, what morally justifies me unaliving a human or violating their body without their consent? What morally
I thought we were talking
justifies
about.
me? I know.
thought we were talking about
I'm gonna
eating
take.
meat.
I'm taking you there. I'm asking you a question so that we can find similar ground.
Yeah, but humans and animals have
Yeah, I said we
nothing
could
to do
start.
with
We
this.
can start with humans. We can start with animals if you prefer. I'm just trying to go with whatever you're comfortable with. You said someone, and that made you uncomfortable.
No, you said someone.
I did, but then you brought it up that it bothered you. You said a someone is a human, right? That's what you're claiming? Okay. Why is a someone a human? What about a human makes them a someone?
Because they can communicate. They have
So a
empathy.
human that can't communicate is not a someone?
What?
Dee, are you actually prepared to have this conversation? You seem like you're constantly surprised by things.
I just don't understand what you're trying to get at.
Okay, let's get more simple. I have a dog right here, and I need exercise, and I get entertainment out of kicking this dog, chasing him down and kicking him. Is that moral in your opinion?
What is wrong with you?
See, this is what I'm talking about. You can't focus on what I'm talking about. All you can do is outrage. It's sad.
Why is it so hard just to answer one question at a time?
Exactly. I'm going to get there. Stop being outraged.
Down low, Chase, where they can't hear me, so just go.
Oh, Lori, I can hear you. What's up?
Trying to be a weirdo, go ahead and go.
What? Oh, Lori, I can hear you.
Hey, girl, for some reason I can't mute.
Oh, okay.
So let me drop down and come back up again?
Yeah, hold on. I have to open up a setting over here. Let me do it first before you step down.
Okay.
I don't know why TikTok keeps doing this.
Yeah, I can't block in the front or when I go to the other part to try to.
Okay.
So I'll drop down real quick.
Let me do this first. Okay, go ahead and drop down, and then I'll fix you. Let's see if I can do it again. Sorry, guys. It is being annoying. I don't know why TikTok is being so rude. Why? Sorry, guys. Oh, there she is. Add. Okay. All right. Lori, you can request back up. It should work now. Close that. Okay, sorry guys. It keeps messing up my mods, and it's like, I need my mods. I need my mods to have power.
You want me to hold on then till you figure it out?
Oh no! Hey, it worked.
Worked. Right on.
All I do is I remove you and then I add you back in.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Good.
it's just so stupid that it's such a stupid system.
Yeah.
All right.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Do you want to pull them up, or you want me to pull them
Oh,
up? Or
it looks like someone brought someone up for us. Thank you, Mod.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for bringing this person up.
T&S Barbecue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I gotta.
Wait.
Can
Wait. Before you do, I just want to make sure that you're over 18, and then I'm going to ask you my question. If you answer my question, I will answer your question. Absolutely. So, how do you morally justify not living vegan, and are you over 18? You should be able to unmute. It's right in the middle. Right there. Hello? I invited you to unmute. I just didn't want you to talk over me with your question because I wouldn't be able to hear it because I was asking you if you're over 18 first.
Oh, I'm 35, by the way. I don't think I ever answered that question.
Oh, it's because we're friends. I know I've talked to you before. I knew you were over 18. Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes I do forget though, and I'll ask people again. T&S, do you need to like drop down and come back up?
There we go.
Still muted. Oh, there we go. Okay.
There we go. We're in there.
Okay.
God, I'm over 18. I'm so sorry. I'm
That's
way
okay.
over 18.
That's
It's
okay.
horrible.
Just blame it on
Don't
TikTok.
get old. It's a lie.
Just blame it on TikTok. So how do you morally justify not living vegan? And then I'll answer your question after that.
Because I don't feel that saying that I'm eating vegan, therefore it's moral, is a correct statement.
Okay. I'll hold on to that thought. What was your question?
At what point does an animal get justification for staying alive?
What you could ask the same question for a human.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I'm just asking because when you're farming and you go plow a field for grain or broccoli or
wait,
corn,
are you going to blame the fact that the animal eats and needs resources as a justification to take their life?
Oh, no, good.
Not
At all.
I was going to say, because we're the one breeding them into existence.
No, not at all. What I'm saying is the fact that whenever a field is plowed to plant vegetables, that I hate saying unalived, many small animals are dispatched. Can we say dispatched? Is dispatched okay?
I think so.
Like mice, snakes.
Yes,
worms.
But who eats most of these plants?
Other than vegans?
It's going to be animals. 83%.
Well, I mean, if you're...
Do you know how much of our agricultural land is dedicated to animal ag alone?
Animals eat that much broccoli?
83% of our agricultural land is dedicated to animals. And they only provide us... Hold on.
That.
No, you need to understand this. They take up 83% of our land, but they only provide us 18 of our total calories. 18%. We're wasting water, land, space for food. If we had got rid of animal agriculture, we could feed our population and then some on only a quarter of our current agricultural land. That means 75% of our ag land could be rewilded or we could expand where people live or give it back to the actual stewards that were there before, right? Like there's so many possibilities.
Of that percentage of that land, what crop are they planting?
So the land, I don't think you understand how much land this is. This is like the land equivalents of North America and South America combined. That's how much land we would save. So we could grow any crops in any rotation that we wanted because we're feeding 92.2 billion animals. There's only 8 billion humans. So if we can feed almost 100 billion animals. Why can't we feed nearly 10 billion humans?
Now
So
how
you're not
many
listening,
animals
are
do
you?
wait? Yes, I am.
We
Now,
can
hang
grow
on. I'm trying.
enough human food. We don't need, this is land that can grow human grade food.
Okay, now hang on. Hang on one second. You're quoting me numbers. Okay.
I'm
Let's
telling
get
you
into
that your argument means nothing because you're taking a sentient life. And you're claiming it's more resourceful, and I'm telling you it's not.
I'm not saying everybody shouldn't be vegan. There should be no. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Everybody needs to do what, I'm just, when it comes to the moral high ground.
Should
portion
everyone
of
try
it,
to not be racist?
racism.
Should
and
everyone,
having a
can you
moral
answer my
high
question? Answer my question. You can say whatever you're going to say afterwards. Yes or no, should everyone aim to try to not be racist?
Everyone is inherently.
Can you answer my
bigoted.
question?
Yes, everyone should try. However, everyone is also.
Thank you. Can you eliminate all racism in the world?
Are you going to let me?
Can you eliminate all racism in the world?
Of course not.
So you're going to strive to be the best person you can, even though you can't eliminate racism.
However, everybody,
to
an extent.
So it doesn't matter what happens. Veganism is a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings. That's it. I don't want to demand someone's oppression. Did someone else speak up? Was that you, Lori?
Oh yeah, that's
Please.
okay. I was gonna say that's fine. I didn't understand what is your question, or what are you curious
My
about?
question? Or him?
Up here? No. His question.
Okay.
ENS. I didn't know what his question was or what he came up for. The guy you were just talking to, he's muted.
I invited him to unmute. I don't know if TikTok's being rude.
Your mouth was moving weird too. Your mouth was speaking, but I couldn't hear you for a couple seconds. So I don't know what's going on with TikTok.
Is it still delayed?
But you're okay now.
Okay.
No.
Now there we go.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, sir. What do you? What are you wondering? Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Look, I'm not trying to change anybody's thought process on this. And as far as it goes, being racist, everybody is quote unquote bigoted to an extent. You prefer certain brands over others, and that's okay. All right, I'm not trying to change any of that. My statement is purely this. You had numbers. Let's look at the numbers. How many animals are there? Again.
92 billion plus trillions of seafood life. 92 billion.
Okay, so
92 billion plus. Okay, that's not counting every land animal because we can't.
Well, that's
and trillions.
I mean, that's fine. 92 billion.
Okay, trillions of seafood.
92 billion. 92 billion plus animals that we feed for agriculture purposes, right? Well, and how many humans did you say?
8 billion.
There are 8 billion on the planet
8
right
billion.
now. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the biggest crop that goes into feeding animals?
Corn.
Yeah, probably corn.
Or soy.
Corn and soybeans.
80% of soy goes to animals.
Yeah, you should see Indiana. It's all corn and soybeans. And all of it, and whenever I ask about the fields, I'm like, why can't I go pick a piece of corn? They said, because it's for the cows.
Uh-huh.
Exactly right. Why? We're plowing under, I don't care what field you do. I mean, if a vegetable comes out of a field, small animals had to die for it. Period. You cannot sit there and say that veganism does not kill at least something.
We're not saying that, sir. We're not saying that at all.
She did with the last gentleman.
Okay, well, you're talking about crop deaths?
No. I'm talking about when they plow that field.
You're talking about
crop deaths.
Yeah, you're talking about crop deaths.
There's mice, there's snakes.
That's crop deaths. Right.
Well,
and we can evolve to do something better to make it less harmful for these other animals that are in the fields when we try to pick the food. There are other ways to go about it, but we only kill 7 billion crop animals compared to 92 plus billion animals that you eat a year. So
I'm
it's
fat.
far less.
I'm
It is
fat,
a
but I'm
lot,
not that fat.
Pardon?
But the statement, I said I'm fat, but I'm not that fat.
Okay, well, I'm just saying in general, but the statement is we try to do the least amount of harm as possible.
Hey, and you know what? I get that. I understand that. But the statement of it doesn't kill any animals, or it's
That's not the statement.
that was the statement.
Veganism is a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings. Exploitation means to use someone unfairly for your benefit.
I understand that.
That has nothing to do with unaliving. It has to do with using, with viewing someone as an object.
But with the last gentleman that was on here that couldn't get his
It's not
story
about
straight.
unaliving. It is not about unaliving. It is not about unaliving. I can't stress that enough. It is not about unaliving. It is about exploitation.
But you just
exploitation. Exploitation. Yeah. Crop deaths are self-defense. Self-defense and necessity, like you're going to pass away or you're going to lose great quality of life. Those are the two justifications, not moral, but they're somewhat justified. We can eliminate crop deaths. We can make it better. When you buy plants, you're not demanding an animal lose their life for that crop. You're demanding the crop. We can grow things indoor without crop deaths. When you pick up an animal product, you're saying, I want that animal to lose their life so I can lick their muscle or whatever came out of them.
But by that same logic, if someone lives in an area that they want to put a railroad or a interstate through.
Wait, someone lives in an area where they want to put down a railroad.
Or an interstate.
I can't just put down a railroad. How is this relatable?
Hang on.
I can't just move somewhere and decide I'm going to put a railroad somewhere. What does this have to do with veganism? This is silly.
Hang on. You're talking about...
You're going to yap about trains? Go ahead.
Exactly. We're not going to let you yap because we know you're being disingenuous. You know how we know?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. And you're going to also let me finish. Because once you heard that 80% of ag land is used for animal agriculture and 80% of crops grown is used to feed those animals, you should have said point blank period, okay, you're right. Then everyone should go vegan.
Yep.
But you didn't. You tried to find little holes and you haven't found any.
Yeah, I have.
No, you haven't. You haven't found any.
By your own logic, when I was talking about animals that lived in a field,
You're not listening. You're not listening. Vegan Stoner
You're not letting me finish.
Said, because we know exactly what you're going to say.
Oh, exactly.
Like I said,
what
you found no holes in our argument because veganism is an ethical stance against exploitation, right?
That's the key word.
It's exploitation of other sentient life. And if we stopped exploiting these animals, then guess what? We would have so much more land and crops to feed humans because we would not need them to feed the animals. So there would be much less crop deaths. So if you really care about crop deaths, you should go vegan because we'll greatly reduce the amount of crops that need to be grown.
Right. Exactly.
Because there are more crops being grown to feed the animals that are being unalived than to feed humans.
Dude, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, I know. Someone did it to me. So if the state comes in and declares someone's house and property where they live eminent domain, and they
what does eminent domain
have? Thank God.
Where was he going with that, you guys?
I think he just wants
It
to
doesn't
waste our
matter.
time.
He was trying to make a point that like putting down railroads and interstates kills animals, and that was probably where he was going with that.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with vegans. If you
That has
guys
nothing to
feel
do with
that
the
way,
exploitation of animals.
Yeah.
go talk to the government about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not to mention
That kills
the animal.
animals too.
Exactly. I was like the animal
We can't
ag
hear
system.
you.
Oh no.
Yeah, you know, we can't hear. But it's
I
pretty
totally
easy
agree.
to lip
Yeah.
read.
Sorry.
All I was going to say is the animal ag uses those systems too. They use the railroads. They use all transportation to move animals around. So I
Yeah.
don't know what that has to do with just
That's all
vegans.
for him. Or all for Aglag, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, in all honesty, all of this information is like really new to me, like all of the numbers. So I don't
Sure.
have like any of that.
I
Like,
can
so
send you
I'm
stuff
really,
if you want. Just
yeah,
so you have like an
please.
arsenal. Hell yeah, I can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
want to know because I don't know like anything, and I feel like a baby.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I felt like that for a long time, and I mean, it doesn't really matter as far as what you're arguing for. It's just nice to be able to respond to some of these misinformed comments that people make. But I
Yeah.
mean, even if you didn't know the answer, you could just ask yourself, if I was the victim, would I tolerate that excuse, to violate me?
Which is no.
Exactly. I don't care about
Always.
economics of the environment,
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of nice to have an arsenal, though, to be able to back up and be like, look, there's actually perks to this too. Other perks, but the point is the animals. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm yammering now. Let's bring someone up.
Ready?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Laura. You can absolutely do that.
No,
I'll
that's
stop.
okay.
I'll keep my hands off of there.
I just don't want to pick one up and go ahead.
Hey,
you're
how
great.
are y'all doing?
Hey, Mr. Antichrist, are you over 18?
I am indeed.
Okay, right on. So, how do you morally justify not living vegan?
Yeah, my position's a little weird on this, so I apologize. Bear with me a little bit, but generally I
It
agree
will
with you
answer this
guys.
question, though, right?
Yeah, generally,
Okay.
well, first, I would like to say I do generally agree with moral arguments for veganism. My issue, however, is it doesn't maybe emotionally move me enough to actually be vegan in my own life. I do, however, support the idea of using the state to enforce, vegan policies. So removing animal products, shutting down animal farms, things like that.
Okay.
Do you guys support like using the state for enforcing your views on this, or are you kind of just keeping it to like a individual, individual choice?
So I personally push for individual choice because it's about your principled stance on exploitation and whether or not you want to support that. So legislative change could happen, but it has to come from people wanting that change. So that's where I think individual change starts, the ball going. And eventually we would put in legislation because the people would want that legislation.
So you wouldn't support like an authoritarian policy that just kind of imposed it on people?
Can't, right? Then that's just going to force things to go underground. People are still going to
Well,
do it if
it's
they
not-
don't understand. If most people agree, then we'll make progress. Otherwise, we're just going to go backwards.
Well, even if most people agree, it'll still be underground market for it, right?
Sure, but it'll be less so, right? Most people will have the morality in their mind that, hey, that's someone suffering. There's still people that schmurder. There's still people that grape, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Just because other people still do that doesn't morally justify doing it yourself.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. So if you think
one thing that I
something's
heard
right,
you-
you should do it because you think it's right.
Yeah, one thing I heard you say that you said you kind of discount these benefits or potential benefits for.
Well, because it's
going
not the
vegan,
focus of veganism. Veganism
I
is
agree.
about the victims. There are benefits, but let's say it was bad for the environment, questionable for your health. I would still demand that we have vegan products and vegan people go vegan because there's a victim involved. Like, have you
Well,
seen? Let me bring up one last thing, and I'll let you talk. I know I've talked a lot.
No worries.
The Daybreakers. It's a really bad movie, but have you seen that?
No, I've not.
So it's about these vampires that take over the world, and humans are now the cattle. But these humans don't want to be the cattle. But this is
Yeah.
what vampires live on. They have to drink human blood. So it's a story about how these vampires don't want to harm humans, and they're trying to find a way to not.
And that's how I feel like we are right now. Even if it was questionable for your health, which it's not, but even if it were, it's wrong to enslave someone to use them for your own benefit when you know right from wrong.
Okay. I guess to me, like where I was kind of trying to go is with the environmental claim is I feel like you should consider the environment a lot more than you do, just because with how
Cardboard. It's boring.
with how we're currently doing with.
How often do people
Can
turn
I
off their
please
lights?
continue talking?
How often do people turn off their
Apologies, but
lights? How
you
many
said that
people
you'd let me
recycle?
talk.
How many people recycle? You know, it's
You-
a
you,
nothing
uh,
argument.
Well,
Whereas
the argument is that we're bringing the
like,
planet
think
to
about
extinction.
human slavery. And
Can
I
you,
was
can you let me talk for just one second?
You know what? I'll just go ahead and mute you for a second. Can you imagine if we were talking about human slavery and the reasons that you want me to say why we shouldn't enslave humans is because of the environment? Isn't that insulting to the victims?
So there's principles and there's consequences, and this is a consequentialist argument. The argument is that
So you think the means justify the ends?
I'm saying that.
So why is human slavery
can you listen
wrong?
for 1 second?
Why
Can you
is
listen
human slavery?
for 1 second?
I don't know if
Can I
I
at least
can.
finish my point? Apologies. Like I was supporting your position.
Go ahead.
I just think.
Go ahead.
Well, okay.
Go
So
ahead.
my point is that with animal farming and with what we're doing to the environment, we're not just bringing our own species to extinction, but we're bringing all species to extinction. So to me, it's not only just like the individual animals that are concerned, but I think it's the fact that we are literally ending life on this planet.
No one cares.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why you
no
want
one-
to consider
no one
that as an
cares,
important
though.
aspect. Well, we should care though. We should care the
Yeah,
most
we
about
should.
it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lori.
What is your argument, though, Mr. Antichrist? Like,
My argument is you should be more willing to use
vegan
the
or you're not
state.
vegan or?
Well, like I said, here, I'm not vegan, but I'd be totally in support of using the state to enforce veganism on the population. And
Okay,
so
good luck.
I think that when you're talking about individual choice, you're talking about ultimately keeping the harm to the animals in place and not actually considering using power to change it.
Why aren't you vegan if you outright say everyone should be vegan? That's bizarre.
Yeah, I just don't have the will to change my own habits. Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like
Pathetic.
I said, I rationally agree with your guys' positions.
That's
I just
pathetic,
doesn't
man.
really
That's
move me.
pathetic. You're like saying, I
Well,
try to
hey,
not be
listen.
racist, but I just have to be. Or I
Listen,
have
if
to
you can't
grape.
deal
I
with-
just have to get pleasure. I can't help it. I enjoy it so much. I just don't care about my victims suffering.
If you can't deal with people like me, then you're never gonna see your future come to.
Okay. I just
Okay,
don't
bye.
appreciate people coming
Bye.
up here and telling me how to outreach when they themselves can't even listen to their own rhetoric. Like, if you think the environment is such a great push, you would be vegan. So clearly, it doesn't work. Like, what is wrong? I just don't like someone explaining to me. I understand he was really nice. He spoke with a really nice voice.
No. In the comments, he's being a
troll.
You know what?
Yeah, exactly.
Something else in the comments, no?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
Let's
me.
see if maybe this person will be okay. I don't know.
It's just so weird. Like, in the comments right now, like, why do you have an attitude? You literally told us that for several reasons people should be vegan.
Yeah.
Dino
Like, are you
nuggies.
okay? What are
Dino.
we supposed to do? We're not going to hold your fucking hand.
Yeah.
And
Like,
you
that's
have to
pathetic, bro.
take that. You just have to put your own foot down and say, I'm not going to do it. You have to have self-control.
I mean, it's about what you want to support, right? Do you want to support someone's oppression and exploitation, or do you not want to support that? Right? And then if you don't want to support it, do the best you can to avoid it, which means, like, when I say do your best, I mean, like, I genuinely don't want someone to go kick a baby every time I pick up a product, right? If I knew that was the case, I wouldn't pick up that product anymore. And any other choice I made, if I knew a baby was being kicked unnecessarily, I would absolutely aim to not use that product anymore. That's what veganism is. It's about you going, oh my God, I didn't realize we're doing this here. We're doing this here. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not going to use those things, or I'm going to find alternatives. It's not about what I get from them. Sorry, guys. I just frustrated today, clearly.
No, it's true.
You are completely
Take
valid.
a breath.
Yeah, take a breath. The next person might
You
not
want me
be a troll.
Do you want to bring them up, or you?
Oh
Want
no,
me to
you
bring
can
them
throw
up?
you can
It's
throw
your
them at
turn.
me.
Okay.
You go for it,
Okay.
Lori. Yeah.
Universe is here. Hi.
I don't know who that
Hey,
is.
I watch your
Uni.
lives. Sorry.
Universe, he has his own. He has his.
His own live stuff.
Okay.
Oh my God, your poor little vocal cords, little baby vocal
Sounds
cords.
like
Wanna
the
come up,
laryngitis
Universe?
to me.
Really? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay.
I don't like that guy's name.
Yeah.
It's it's just ableist like hell. I really don't like it. Frustrates me.
Okay.
I don't know how to. No, yeah, I just don't know how to totally.
Hold on a minute, Devin.
Oh, here we go. Goodbye. I just don't appreciate people who are putting down other people because they need to make themselves feel bigger. That's just not okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Devin, I didn't see you were up.
Devin is it.
Are you over 18?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you morally justify not living vegan?
Well, I'm a farmer, and it's like
What do you farm? What do you farm?
dairy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you work on a dairy farm?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is your moral justification for not being vegan?
Yeah.
Okay, so what morally justify, like, that's not really justification. You're just telling me it's your job. What morally justifies you doing what you do to those cows? Why is it okay?
Dropped.
I think it was a kid, honestly. It sounded like a kid. That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, TikTok or Universe is saying they're roaming they're roaming through the TikTok, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I appreciate you being here,
Yeah,
Universe.
They have nothing to do.
That's fair. It's 4th of July. I was thinking like most people are not going to be online because they're going to be outside, probably. You know, the whole reason. So before I'm going to bring Kiwi up here. If you want to just wait a second, I'm going to just talk for like 3 minutes. The background was inspired because.
Mommy.
Oh,
give me
that's.
this.
I thought it was a kid.
That was the kid from before. My bad. I'm sorry. It was the one that was his poor vocal cords.
Yeah.
My background, though, you know, everyone is concerned about. Oh, good. I wanted. Sorry, my thoughts are all discombobulated now. The fireworks. You know, we're all concerned about people with PTSD and dogs. Like those are like the two main vulnerable populations that are brought up about fireworks and you know why we shouldn't have fireworks anymore. But it's like we don't even really consider the wildlife or the animals that we use, which is where this came from. I was thinking about how we clearly relate psychologically, you know, PTSD, being terrified of loud noises, like this is a similar reaction. And if we can recognize that we're that similar in this case, like why can't we recognize that in other cases, like using animals like we did human slaves, you know, like how come we can't see that similarity? The capacity to suffer is there. Anyway. Oh, right. Kiwi, get out of here. Yeah. I definitely need to stop drinking the coffee. I can feel that I'm like kind of twitchy and it's probably making me look crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm not letting him up.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean,
I
honestly, I keep forgetting sometimes and they'll keep requesting and as soon as I recognize them, I kick them, but
yeah.
This is probably going to be the rest of the summer, so everyone be ready.
Let's see, I'll kind of scroll the comments. Let's see. It's not about harm reduction. I mean, yes, that's a perk of veganism, is that we are reducing our harm, but it's about not wanting to demand someone's exploitation. Just existing, you're going to cause harm. Robin. Yeah, you can eat a vegan rare steak. They exist. Yeah, clearly you do.
And have you ever had an Impossible Whopper?
Yeah, right.
Without cheese. It's amazing.
I'm actually not a big fan of the Impossible, but it's because to me it is that kind of, I don't know why, the realisticness. I think it's because every time I get Impossible, it's at an Omni restaurant, and I'm always terrified they're going to mess up my order. So when I got Impossible the first time, it was at some big chain. I don't even remember now. But I just remember being terrified that they switched it, and I was like, either this is so realistic or they messed up my order. I couldn't finish it. So, but I don't know if that tells. I don't know if that reads to its goodness or what. It just seemed almost too authentic. I couldn't trust it. Yeah, but I love Beyond. That's what I have actually in my fridge right now. Yesterday we made smash burgers, and I made a little teriyaki sauce with some tamari and maple syrup and some water and a few spices. And then I put that glaze on top of my burger, and I put a pineapple on top of that. Oh my God. Oh, you guys, I was in heaven. Yeah. So good.
That sounds good.
What cheese do you and eggs? Because like the substitutes literally tasted like sulfur, and like I could not do it.
I actually will use tofu or usually tofu is what I go for, and I'll put the black salt in there, but very, very little because it is powerful. And I think that some people, when they make fake eggs, they put too much of that black salt in there, and it's too much sulfur. But if you do just a tiny bit on anything, really, it gives you that eggy flavor.
Okay, I'll have to Google all this stuff.
Oh
later.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask me questions too. Send me a message. I'll totally give you recipes or recommendations.
Yeah, I got lots of questions. I'll be
Hell
in your
yes.
DMs.
I'm excited, man. Kelly, this is exciting. I'm excited. I love when I'm talking to new vegans and they just want to know new things, because that honestly, when I first went vegan, that's what happened to me too. I got excited because I was like, oh, look at all the alternatives that are available. And this is almost a decade ago, so the products we have now weren't even there. And yeah, it's just, you get excited about cooking because you're like, I had no idea you could put these together and make a fantastic flavor. And it's just, I don't know, you feel independent.
Like my favorite snack is vegan. It's pretzels. So I'm like, yes, I get to keep my pretzels.
Oh, we have soft pretzels over here that are vegan. Oh, I'd stay away from them because I'll get too much. Not that that's a problem, actually. It's just,
and it's so much better for my health and my diet. Like, I need to lose a lot of weight. I'll be honest. And I'm working on it. And I think a vegan diet is just the perfect area to slide into. It aligns with my moral beliefs. It aligns with my dietary needs. Everything is lesser calories, less sugar. The imitation honey, so good. Tastes exactly like real honey.
Which honey do you have?
Sugar free. I forgot the name.
Oh, that's okay. Is it the apple honey? That's the one I have.
No, it's something different, but it tastes exactly like real honey. And I get my coconut milk yogurt, and it's vanilla and delicious. And I just bought 2 more tubs of it. So
I gotta say, you should go on YouTube and look up how to make some of these yourself, just for fun, not unless you like making it. But it's kind of fun to learn how simple some of these things are to make, and you can make it even cheaper. But because I was gonna suggest, if you've ever tried cashew yogurt, but it's usually a little more expensive is the problem. But it's so creamy. Oh, I love.
Where'd Ciara go?
Oh, well, we're probably yip-yapping. She's such a
Sorry, I'm just so excited.
Oh, you don't need to. There's no one requesting right now, so
okay.
I actually like that we talk about products. I just didn't want her to feel pressured, and we're not really talking about anything serious. So yeah. I
don't know if we have anybody.
I don't actually. You guys can
Oh,
request.
Is nutritional yeast like something that's like? Does it taste?
wanna come
Does
back
it
up,
taste like
Ciara?
cheese, or is it more of just like the savory flavor?
Nutritional yeast tastes kind of cheesy to me. My mom used to put it just
It
on
does to me too. It's
toast.
really good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
I actually, I put Nooch on almost every dinner. I love
Maybe I
Nooch.
should get some.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
What
Yeah,
brand do you
should
like?
definitely get some.
I have.
Oh,
I
all
think
the brands
Bragg's.
are pretty good.
Yeah, what brand do you have, Ciara?
Yeah, Bragg's is good.
Okay.
The Trader Joe's one is really good.
Yeah, I need to go to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you
Sounds like they
do.
have a lot of vegan options. That's
I
exciting.
know. When I first went vegan, I don't remember that
they
many
do.
options there, so that's exciting.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
they
really
have
good.
some here and there.
Like their Caesar salad dressing is really good. They sell Caesar salad dressing there. It's really good. And
Yeah.
I do love a really good salad. Do they
Same.
do they do a salad bar? There was a natural food store that I had in a previous city that had like a salad bar where you can make a salad. Do they do that there at Trader Joe's ever? Or is it
I
just,
don't think
just a
so.
grocery store, right? Okay.
not at mine. I don't. Not
No,
mine.
Maybe
they don't.
at Whole
They do it.
Foods.
It's a store.
Yeah, Whole Foods.
Okay. I haven't shopped at Whole Foods. I mean, I have other weird things that I abstain from. I abstain from using Amazon and Walmart and Whole Foods just because Amazon uses it. I don't really
That's
promote
not
it.
weird.
I know it's not totally weird. I don't like billionaires, and I don't like them sticking their greedy little fingers in, the places that I just like. There are, I don't know how to say everything.
Does it give you the ick?
It does. It gives me the ick. I don't like people being exploited for things that we don't need. And I understand, though, that people have now become reliant on these things. It's almost come down to, sadly, like animal products, where it's like people think they have this need. But, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's not weird at all. I definitely agree. There are so many, like where I live, it's like I only
So
live
that's the
by
thing.
two like
I
good
actually,
grocery stores,
I
and
actually
Whole
like
Foods is one
Amazon
of
for that.
them.
Yeah. That you have access to
Yeah,
things.
and exactly. And
Yeah.
Amazon is good for a few things that I like order every month. So it does really suck though.
I really want, so this sounds, I don't even know the logistics of this, so don't really hold it against me. This is like pie in the sky. But it'd be like we would take the power of Amazon, which I guess is just a socialist perspective, and it would be used like the post office so that we could provide, resources to everyone in our area, if not the world, so that people could have access to food and information and, those things that make us all part of society. And instead of exploiting people, like if we could obtain the powers and actually have the people that are working there be cared for, it would be a great system. Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is right now. So, yeah, I that's why I don't really promote it though. It's like your situation. It has become a thing for people in areas that don't have access to things. In fact, I love that people can be vegan because they have access, of online stores, and that's huge, huge. So we just need to fix that system, because when you use it, you're not demanding human exploitation. You're demanding delivery of products. So, sorry guys, I did go on there for a minute.
Advocate for unions. Like I'm an advocate for unions, and Trader Joe's is actually there. Like some stores have been unionized, but some have been really like bad for union busted. But you can like join their newsletter and like sign their petition and stuff. So
I will do that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Hold on, Lanny. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm just writing down so that I look at that up later.
You're there.
That's actually a really great idea. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
same. There are also similar things for Amazon because they've tried to unionize and other companies that we boycott, like Starbucks. So
yeah,
they have had stores unionized too, actually. But
that's true.
Yeah, they have their issues.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're also not really supported. Okay.
Lanny's up.
Need to get.
Hello.
Hey, are you over 18?
Yes.
Right on. What morally justifies not living vegan for you?
So I don't know necessarily if it's morally justifiable. I guess I don't really know too much about veganism, you know? I don't really know much about the, cause or whatever, But I do
I can give
think
you
it
the
is important.
definition.
Yeah, give me the definition if you can.
It's I'll sum it up. There's actually a longer definition, which I do encourage you to go look at by the Vegan Society. But it's essentially a principled stance against the exploitation of sentient beings. Exploitation being that key word right there.
Okay. So I guess I just have a question. So I'm not trying to attack or maybe morally justify it. I just have a question. Do you take into account the food chain at all?
Yeah.
Because animals themselves eat smaller animals, and it's morally justifiable because they're animals.
Do you know what the food chain is? Like, what is the food chain? So I'll just, go ahead. Do you want to say something?
No, I just was like, oh, you left the chat.
Yeah, you might be looking something. I don't know if we can't hear you. Is it Iney or Lanny? I don't know if that's an L or an I. Lanny? Okay. But if you leave the app, we can't hear you.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So
food chain is essentially, smaller creatures. Simplify it. Smaller creatures.
So it's about transfer of energy, right? The sun gives energy to the grass, and then the herbivores eat grass. I feel like I'm speaking from the Lion King. But they eat the grass, and then animals will eat the herbivore, right? But the transfer of energy is minimal. It's only like 10% each time it goes up the ladder. So it's just about transfer of energy and how much of that energy is going up to the top. So humans are not even a part of that. We've actually left the food chain or whatever. The food chains are just a zoom in on food webs, on animals interacting with each other. And then we can see the transfer of energy. So,
but I mean, I guess if your guys' argument is that we're all sentient beings, including animals, which is true, and we're all morally justifiable, or we have the right of life because we're all sentient, then wouldn't it be morally unjustifiable for a dog to, say, eat a rat, because they're both living?
I would say it is immoral, but there are what we call moral patients. Do you know what a moral patient is?
Describe it.
It's just someone who deserves moral consideration. They don't necessarily need to understand morality themselves. They just are able to experience the world.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but I mean...
So another example of a moral patient... Hold on. Another example of a moral patient are children. Do you agree that adults shouldn't take advantage of children because they're vulnerable?
Well, no, but children also know what's right from wrong. You can teach a dog what's right from wrong.
Kids do things that are immoral and not knowingly, right? That's why we don't hold them to the same standards as a cognizant adult.
Well, yeah. It's natural to,
So just because that kid lacks moral agency doesn't mean that we now have the right to dominate and use them.
It doesn't make them less.
Right.
I guess it's... I guess my point is that it kind of is natural for us to,
Yeah, but natural doesn't matter. We're moral agents. We know what's right and wrong, and we care about others' capacity to suffer, regardless of their species, regardless of their abilities, right? I'm sure you agree kicking a dog is wrong, even if I get immense joy out of it, because the dog is suffering, and that's not fair. I can kick something else, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying you can eat something else. And I would argue that me kicking a dog is less bad. It's still bad, but it is less bad than you demanding someone have their head removed or their baby stolen from them, or just in general their freedom.
Would you say that a dog has the same moral value as a child?
Morally speaking, yes. You shouldn't cause a dog unnecessary harm for the same reasons you shouldn't cause a child unnecessary harm. They both
So
have the
you're
capacity to
saying,
suffer. They're having subjective experiences. They're going to experience something negative that they don't want to experience because of you.
well, yeah, but I
So
mean,
you agree you shouldn't do that, right? If you can
if we're
avoid
out of the
doing so,
food
you
chain,
should.
we're out of the food chain completely because we're so intelligent.
That
Wouldn't a
has nothing to
child
do with what we're
have
just
more
talking about.
value? Wouldn't a child have more value than a dog?
What if the child will not grow to be an adult? They have some mental disability and they also they're predicted to pass away before the age of 10. Can I then exploit them knowing they're not going to live very long and they're not intelligent to my
No,
standards?
I wouldn't
Right.
exploit a child because it's a human being.
Okay, so is it DNA? Do you have
Yeah,
to
it's
check?
human DNA.
So you go around checking everyone's DNA to make sure that they're human before you use them?
I wouldn't abuse anybody, but
So I
if it's a
brought this
human
scenario
being, I
up
can
3
tell.
times today. Let's say Superman came to Earth and he had a child that was severely mentally challenged. Can we enslave his child?
Explain what you're trying, like your point here.
He's not human and he's not your level of intelligence. Can we exploit Superman's child?
No, because Superman technically is an
Superman's gone.
alien.
Superman's on another, he's left now. He wasn't able to come back for his child. His child now lives here on Earth with us. May we
Well, if the
exploit
child
his
is the
child?
child intelligent?
I just told you no. He's mentally challenged. He's no smarter than the animals we use.
I guess not, but
Why?
it's the same as an animal
But
if
why
it's
is
not
it
at that
immoral?
point.
Why is it immoral? So you wait. Do you agree it's immoral to enslave Superman's son?
I mean, it depends.
Oh my God. Are you serious? You would enslave Superman's son because he's not in your species?
Honestly, if it's a
Do you hear
human
yourself
being,
that you're discriminating someone just because of
you,
some
you do realize that
arbitrary
Superman.
See,
Wait.
this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. What should be important is the capacity to suffer. The capacity to feel, not who you're related to. You're doing a group thing. That's like all other oppression. If you're not in my group, I can do what I want to you. You're not in my species. You're not in my race. You're not in my religion, right? All just about a group. You don't even know what species defines. What is species?
I do just want to point something
What
out.
is species?
For like you use the argument.
What is
Make
species?
sure.
I don't need you to tell me how to advocate, thank you. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
People are just, yeah, these people are just being disingenuous. Like, they keep poke little holes and it's not working for them.
Yeah. It's probably my energy too, though, in that sense that they feel like they just want to beat me. I don't know. It just feels like they're always just trying to.
Stop.
You're right. You're right.
Stop blaming yourself. These people are going to be disingenuous whether you bring a type of energy or not.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's just frustrating. And it's like I want to be able to do something that cracks them.
I know, but you're doing everything you can. Like,
That's true.
And you're an animal rights activist. Like, I will keep telling you this until you learn.
Thank you.
You're an animal rights activist. Like, you're going to be passionate.
Yeah, that is true. And I see it in everyone else that I watch. I know it's totally, I even say the same things you're saying too. I say it to them like, this is a serious issue. Someone's losing their life, their freedom, their family. It's a big deal. So they just don't understand. And I understand that I might look loony to them because they don't understand. And that's what frustrates me because it's like, I feel like almost I'm, anyway. Oh, people, get up here. Let's talk.
I mean, Yeah, people haven't what do you want to call it? They haven't, done the work. They haven't done the deconstruction that we have. So to
Yeah.
us, it's like normal. Like, of
Yeah.
course,
It's so
that we
clear.
shouldn't exploit sentient beings.
Yeah.
But people are just so human supremacist, they don't get it.
They don't want to believe that
That's,
animals are incredibly smart and that they
Yeah.
can have, and that they do have the capacity to feel and know and love. And, watch an animal documentary, look it up. It's incredibly smart creatures.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely
right.
right. Yeah.
And I mean, we've been told our whole lives that, like, humans are supreme to other species. And so it's okay that we exploit them and that we use them. And so that is truly how people think. And, like, they have to do some sort of deconstruction
Yeah.
in order to
And
stop thinking that way.
And people want to bring up like the Bible. Like it says, okay, we have dominion over animals, but having dominion over something doesn't mean that you abuse it and exploit it. That is not what that means.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian, like, but I don't go around like using that as an excuse.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Kelly, have you watched Christspiracy?
No, but I will
Your
now.
perspective is absolutely needed in this vegan fight, because I feel like a lot of people do fall on their religion, and they will hear it more from someone who is of a similar mindset of like you're religious, and
Yeah,
they might
because
actually be open to you.
in the original Eden, we were not meant to eat animals. Before sin happened in the world, we were not meant to eat animals at all.
Yeah.
It says that in the Bible.
You would like Christspiracy. You should look up that documentary. I think
Is
you
it
would
on
be,
YouTube?
No, Christspiracy.com. I think they had to put it on their own page because every platform wanted them to convert their video to be more about like environment and health and not so much about the animals. So that's what makes it such a great documentary. It's showing people who follow like Judeo-Christian beliefs. It also goes over other religions, but it's really focused on like Christ and how he lived his life. And they're looking at the texts and the words that the dominion word, or when he's in the den of thieves, they look at the word thieves and if it was actually thieves or was it violent ones. And it's just a great documentary. And I think it would help you talk to people that are, you're already a great outreacher, but I just feel like you would connect on the vibe that it puts out. Christspiracy. Gosh, and like you were only vegan for like a couple weeks now, right?
Not even like a week, I don't think.
Dude, I am impressed. It took me 5 years before I started getting active, so kudos for getting out there.
Yeah, I mean, I love animals, so I can't help it.
Yeah,
I worked as a vet
true
tech
vegan
before I got disabled, so I was helping to heal them and
you
take care of
You
them.
saw some dark stuff then.
I absolutely did. I have a lot of post-traumatic stress from that I talked to my therapist about. There's still some things that I'm not over and that I can't talk about without crying. So
I totally can understand. Obviously, I can't totally relate. I didn't go through it, but I'm so sorry that you have that. That's rough.
It's okay.
I'm glad that you have this empathetic heart and that you helped others and that you're still helping others. So that's huge.
Oh, everyone's being so sweet in the comments. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Dubs in the chat for Kelly. Go follow Kelly. Everyone.
If you want to watch me and my dog dancing and me and my moo and like me and River dancing, like please go follow. I post a lot of medical stuff too, so I'm just being honest about what I do. So
I need a moo. I need a moo.
I
Moo-moos
love
are
my
so
moo-moos.
comfortable.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna have to get a moo now. You
yeah.
inspired me. I mean, I wanted one before, but you having one, I'm like, yeah, I got to do it now.
They're for everyone.
They're so comfortable. Oh yeah, everybody can wear a moo. They're just so comfortable.
And it makes me feel like I'm like in the Victorian era where like everyone wore long, drapey, sleep clothing. So
yeah. You feel fancy, but you're also just super comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moo-moos are the best. We have
Not
never
ashamed.
mind, that's a child. Dang it. I got excited. I thought we had a request, but it's just a child.
Yeah, I keep tapping the guest. I'm like, are there any people in there?
Yeah. I don't know. You guys are welcome to try to, since we're not having any. Oh, nope, Smiles. It's just a child. Oh, maybe this is not a child. Let's see. I feel like I've seen this name before, though.
How you doing?
Hey,
So
are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 44.
Okay. All right. So my question is, how do you morally justify not living vegan? Does your statement answer that at least?
It's not worth the risk. There's too many failures that go on, and
Risk? What risk?
hurt people on your live saying there are plenty of the risk of mental health issues
I've been vegan 9 years. I'm okay.
that are associated with it.
Lori's been vegan. How long have you been vegan again? 25 years?
Yes. But I didn't really eat meat as a child, though. But full on for 25, yeah.
You're fine.
No, I'm fine.
So there's
what mental health risks?
Yeah. XYZ?
I'm not understanding the question.
Yeah. Are you saying that there's something we
and
need
you
from
only
animal
make
products?
up 3 to 4% of the population?
Okay. Is this?
I'm just saying that the Mediterranean diet.
How does this affect your choices? How does this affect your choices?
Yeah, we're talking about you.
I do not recommend anyone going on a plant-based diet, considering the high amount of failure rate that goes on, and analyze vegans over
It's
time.
hard to hear you.
It's just outrageous.
You're cutting.
New York
Yeah, it's
posted
really
a
breaking
wonderful
up.
article on how
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. I muted you because you're in and out and you're just making noise. We can't actually understand you.
Oh, it says the signal's really bad on his end.
It doesn't show me
I
that
see the
signal
bars.
thing.
Hey,
It
he's
doesn't
only
see
got
it
like
now.
2 bars out of 4.
Okay. Maybe leave and come back.
Just because something's the food chain doesn't mean that it's right and ethical. And we live in a world now where if you want to argue that it's from our past and our ancestors did it, well, guess what? We evolved. And here I am, science. There is evolution that happens. People evolve, and so can your thought processes, and so can standing up
Your
for
habits.
the animals that do not have a voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really not that hard to go vegan. It really is easy. It's just about it's about the motivation. It's about recognizing that you're kicking dogs when you don't need to kick dogs and going, "Oh my gosh, if I can avoid kicking dogs, I'm going to avoid it." It's that kind of mindset. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize someone was having their head removed, their blood drained. I didn't realize someone was having their baby removed and that they were being graped every year.
Yeah, I think XYZ was just trying to say that like a vegan diet's a really bad diet to be on.
Oh,
but
yes.
I was going to
Sorry, I got
ask
off track.
I was going to ask for his sources. So,
Yeah, I wanted to hear more.
I
was
want the
actually-
sources. Like
Yeah.
send it to me. Where does it say that it's it's extremely harmful? Any diet can be harmful.
In fact,
any diet.
In fact, most people are deficient in something because we're not really taught how to eat. We're taught out of habit, so a lot of people are deficient in a lot of things. Everyone should be actually supplementing. I think Smiles is a child because I thought we had them up. Okay, we'll bring them up again, but I'm pretty sure they were a child.
Smiles, I'm thinking of he's not a child.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Smiles. You can come up
He's
then.
been live with Universe, right?
Okay. My bad. I thought you were... I'll keep my finger off of the decline button then.
Does he want up?
I think so. Yeah, it looks
Let me
like
bring
it.
him up?
Please, yeah.
Do you want-
Yeah, exactly, Frisia. Most people are deficient in like B12 or vitamin D.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey.
Hi, Smiles. Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 22.
Oh, okay. Are you vegan?
Yes.
Oh, I'm really sorry now. You have the same icon as the troll I had earlier, so I thought you were the troll, and I was like, no, get out of here. Now I feel really bad.
No, you're good. You're good. One time I saw a meat eater come in that had the name not Smiles but Smile. On I think it was like yesterday, and I was like, no, having that name, no, that's my name.
I like that. No, you can't wear that. I'm wearing that. Way to go. That's fantastic. So I take it you're an animal rights activist, though?
I would say I've been getting more into talking about it on the lives. I'm new to that.
Well, welcome up.
Same.
Yeah, welcome. So how long have you been vegan?
Oh, I've only been in terms of like, because before I was like aligning some of the values and some of like my decisions like before, and I was vegetarian.
Yeah.
But being like fully like aligned and everything, I've only been vegan for like over a week now.
Way to go. Well done. A lot of vegans actually relate with that. Because it's like, you're learning. You're like, as you find things, you're like, oh, I don't want to support that. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad to have you up here. Just to be clear, I'm speaking for abolition. And we were talking earlier about baby steps, but it's more about, I don't support baby steps, more like replacing things as you use them. But if you feel like something's wrong, you should just stop. But that's just wanted to lay that out there. Are you willing to hang out with us while we bring people up?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like to do that.
Hell yes. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys, this panel. I am all about this panel. Yes. Okay, let's do this.
Thank you for the W's. And thanks for the gift.
Everyone should go check out Smiles. I don't even know if I'm following you. Let's see if I'm following you. I don't know how to do this. Well, I'll look you up afterwards. I'm struggling with the desktop version. I don't know where all the buttons are. So I'll have to look you up afterwards, but whatever. Okay.
It's just like Smiles like 215, I think. Something like that.
Okay. Awesome. You should be also in my records, so I should be able to find you. But awesome. All right, Ashley, welcome up. Are you over 18?
I am.
Awesome. How do you morally justify not living vegan?
So I've gone on a couple of these lives before just because I like to give another perspective to things. I was vegetarian for a while, I was pescatarian, and then I was vegan for a few years. And then we had kids, and we had no history of any family, like any food allergies within the family. But we had 2 kids, and between the 2 of them, we have a lot of anaphylactic allergies in our house. Between my son and my daughter, we have one of them is anaphylactic to tree nuts, the other one peanuts, and they cross-react with any form of legume because peanuts are a legume. And then also they both have the soy and eggs. And at the same time, one of them is on the spectrum. They have ARFID, which is avoidant restrictive food intake disorder, which is very common in kids on the spectrum due to severe sensory struggles. And so all of that being said, I had never experienced any of this. And I used to kind of think like, people using food allergies or whatever as a reason to restrict basically to say that they could not, eat a fully plant-based diet was kind of BS. And now having gone through this with our kids, I mean, their allergies are so severe where it's like, I can't even give them a kiss. If I've eaten the foods, I can't have them in the house. They're airborne allergic to a few of them. Yeah. That being said, we try and keep the diet, like 80 to 85% plant-based. But unfortunately to meet, dietary needs, we've had nutritionists and allergists and pediatrician, everyone kind of recommend that we do keep some animal protein in their diet. So that being said, I like to give this perspective because food allergies are up and rising. Right now, it's about 1 in every 11 to 13 kids is diagnosed, and they are assuming that in like the next decade, that number will continue to rise up. Yeah. And of that, right now it's about 8 to 10% of kids and people, around 40 to 50% of those have multiple food allergies and not just one food allergy. So that being said, I like to give this side of it just because now having lived through this, I kind of view things a little bit differently, and I still don't believe in supporting any like of these disgusting huge, like Tyson and these disgusting farms where animals are just treated so inhumanely. Yeah. Well, so I have a believe like in a circumstance like mine, like people should be trying to find the best possible option as far as where they are buying that meat.
Okay,
We're
hold on a
fortunate
second.
we have a
So,
family
okay.
farm.
Oh.
A cousin of mine has like a very small farm where these
Okay.
animals live.
All right, I understand. I understand. You shop for high welfare. I get it. So what I would just ask is, what about other aspects of your life besides food? Are you vegan in every other aspect of your life? Do you go to
Yes.
the zoo? Do you go to the circuses with
No.
animals? Okay. Do you wear wool, leather, down?
No, not
Okay.
at all.
All right. And then if you had to, if you're using cosmetics, do you, aim to look for cruelty free? So that
Absolutely.
Okay.
Totally.
I mean, so what it comes down to, veganism is about practicable and possible, which means as far as you actually can in your world. And if you're talking to dietitians and you're talking to nutritionists and you're expressing that you want to minimize or you don't want to use animals, it would be preferable to not use animals, but you want to care for your child and do the best you can for them. That's the best you can do. And I would never hold necessity against someone, but I would say that keep looking for options, have them keep trying things that could alleviate to turning away from using for animals. I'm not a doctor, so just keep in contact with your nutritionists and dietitians. Those are the ones that are going to be the best for your diet specifically, or for your child's diet. But it's about what you want to support. Veganism isn't a gang. It's about we all collectively, well, not collectively, we each individually are principled against using someone without their consent. And we understand, though, that some people might be in a situation where they will lose quality of life greatly or potentially die. That's a different argument. I wouldn't say it's moral, but I would still say it's justified. So as a vegan in that situation, you would still be vegan if that's what you're aiming to do. I'm trying my best to reduce as the absolute possible. So we absolutely do consider situations like yours, because I wouldn't want your child to be in harm's way.
Yeah.
Either of them. Yeah.
Well, thanks for giving that, opinion. I've always wondered kind of like, how does that, in every other way we live as vegan as possible. And I know it's, it's a tricky thing, and I just don't really understand like how
I could give you another example that's not as it's not your child, but a lot of vegans have carnivorous companions, and they don't have options to feed that companion always. So some of them are still using animals, but they're not advertising it, right? They're not being like, here's a loophole. If anything, they're ashamed about it and trying to fix it, but potentially can't. So
interesting.
Yeah. So it's veganism again, it's about practicable and possible. It's about not advertising when you do need to use animals, recognizing that there needs to be a change, and possibly being a voice to demand an alternative that would work for your situation. But I would say, like right now, you're doing what you can, talking to the dietitians and nutritionists. That's the best you can do. So
awesome. Well, thanks for sharing this with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming up, Ashley. You brought up a really great point. Thank you.
Of course. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, and I want to say that too, talking about that it would be really good if you can to find a registered dietitianist who is like focused on plant-based specifically.
Yes, thank you. That's a good point. Because plant-based is kind of a specialist thing. They can all help you find nutrition, but plant-based will find you the things that are good, They won't be like, oh, I just found this meal that could be plant-based. It's something that they actually are, yeah.
And then also I want to add, just because like I have looked at it in the past when I was considering it being a career, often like a dietitianist is above a nutritionist. So if you could go to a dietitianist, that would be good. Go into a plant-based focused dietitianist, registered dietitianist.
I believe she had mentioned that she was talking to a dietitian and a nutritionist and a pediatrician, but maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm just putting that out there.
No, it's absolutely great advice. You're 100% right. Yep.
It was really nice to get that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my thing wasn't going off. It's really nice to get that like side of like allergies and things like that, because I didn't even like think about that. Where like you could have an allergy to something and maybe you can't be vegan. Like that didn't even cross my mind. But it seems like she was doing everything she could, which is good. So
yeah. I do appreciate it being brought up, but at the same time, feels like it's used. Not that she was using it this way, but I do worry that situation, it's very rare. It's not that. I still
Yes.
want those people cared for. But people
Yes.
sometimes will point to others and say, see, now I have a
Mhm.
moral justification. And it's the only reason why I worry about that. And
Yep.
why I was specifying, like, even vegans that have carnivorous companions are being like, please don't harm animals. Like, I know that I'm being a hypocrite in this moment, but it's because I have someone I need to care for, and this system is broken right now. I don't have a solution to this issue. But we're working on it. We got vegan cat foods coming out, so if you have access to that, please try them. Look up how to introduce cat food too. A lot of people don't know how to do that, and so that can also. Cats are very picky, but anyway.
I was gonna look into the vegan dog food that you showed the other time. The other live.
Dogs seem a lot easier because they seem a lot more open to different foods. Not all of them, obviously, they're all different individuals, but they do seem, and they're omnivorous too. So, yeah, they can thrive on a plant-based diet.
And it looked like it was AFCO approved too. I think you pointed that out on the can.
Yep.
No.
It is. Evolution is the best brand.
Too.
Yeah, definitely check them out. I like that Evolution has some different flavors too. They don't have just one flavor. They have different types so that you can like change it up for your companion. They don't have to eat the same thing every day, which is nice.
Do they have a kibble form or is it only wet food? They have a kibble too?
Yeah.
Oh,
in fact, no, I don't have the Evolution bag anymore. I now have switched to Amy's only because my cat showed some interest, so I was giving her that. But yeah, they have Evolution has kibble as well in different flavors. So
cool. I'm gonna look that up.
Hell yeah. I think I go to Cat Cavo. Hold on, let me look it up. Cat. Let's see. I don't remember the website. It was Vecado. 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 They have a bunch of different brands in there.
Is that where you get yours from?
Yeah. Yeah, some of the brands they won't ship. There was like with the tariffs and all that other crap, there was some issues getting some products into the US for a minute. So yeah, I was lucky to have that website still. I could use that one. Couldn't find it elsewhere. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, there's options. Just keep trying. It's about what you want to support, as I said. But oh, I lost my little. There it is. No requests still. Well, we are at 2 hours. Maybe I'll just call it here. I don't normally do very long lives later in the week anyway. What do you guys think?
I'm okay with that. I'm a little sad, but it's okay.
Aw. I mean, okay, I'll try one last. Let's see if we can get someone up here.
Yeah.
I'll have one last conversation. Anybody want to come up over 18? Let's see how many people we got in here. Only 24. They're probably all vegan. Everybody's vegan in here. Everyone agrees. You can't morally justify living there's no way to morally justify not living vegan. Everyone agree?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not. You're not vegan. What the floof?
Yeah, what the floof? It has like chickens.
Oh.
And I think so.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I can't come up right now. All right. Well, if you actually have chickens, I'll just run through it real quick. They're from the red jungle fowl. So we took someone out of the wild who was living their best life, and we made them mate with someone so they would have deformed babies, so that those babies fit our needs and could not survive on their own anymore. They were dependent on us, so they stayed close to us. We did that over and over and over. It kept taking someone, making them mate with another someone, so their baby was deformed. They only laid like 13 eggs a year. That baby was deformed to make more eggs. So now they lay an egg every day, if not at least multiple times a week.
Yeah, I was wondering because, people who have chickens and, let's say someone who has chickens, but like they don't, they let them live out their lives. They're not going to slaughter them at the end of their egg laying, but the chicken still came from somewhere. So technically, do you think that's like a gray area, or do you see that? How do you see that, Anna?
So again, it's because where did the chicken come from, right? Even if they go
Yeah.
to, let's say, a small farm, they're like, I was given these chickens by another farm. That farm has probably next to no males. Maybe they have a handful of males for every dozen of chickens. I don't know the actual ratio, but they usually don't have very many males. You don't need a lot. Males take up resources. They can be aggressive and territorial. So what do you think happens to all the males, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always...
That makes sense.
Typically, if it's at a small farm, they're going to either tie them off, or they're going to crush them, or they're going to drown all the male chicks day one. Or if they get them from a hatchery, the male chicks are just thrown into a macerator.
Yeah, that was the one that was hard to watch. That was hard to see.
Yeah, it was rough.
They just don't even get a chance.
Yeah. A lot of people try loopholes with chickens because you don't see the exploitation. It's kind of like horseback riding in some sense, because when you get a horse, you don't realize what went into making that horse be a safe ride. When you have chickens, people don't see the exploitation that led to the chicken being what they are. You know, they don't see that they were, their parents are in a grape shed, and they don't see that their great parents were free, you know. So it's, humans forget things. They just see the thing in front of them and think this is here for me, and instead of recognizing this is my neighbor, this is my brother.
What the floof? Why can't you request and come up? You should.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, you may love them, and that's fine. If right now you decide I don't want to exploit animals, you know, for me, I don't want to harm these birds are my friends. I'm friends with these birds. Then don't eat their eggs, because you're looking at them as a resource, and you're thinking anything that falls off of them, mine. They don't have anything, it's mine, right? I can use this, and you keep them for that, right? Versus they're an individual, like a child, right? That child's hair, that's that child's hair. Even though they can't, you know, really consent or anything, they still have rights over their autonomy. You can't just shave a toddler's head to make wigs. I mean, you could, but that would be immoral, right? To constantly shave their head because you want to make money for wigs instead of asking the child what they want to do with their hair. It's not harmful, right? But I'm using my child like an object instead of knowing what their preferences are. What do they want? Do they want this? Is this fair to them? If I was in their position, would I accept this? Sorry, I'm ranting at what the floof.
I mean, yeah, because even if they're gonna lay eggs, it doesn't mean you have to take it from them. They'll actually eat their own eggs. They love it. Like,
yeah, it's good.
I'm just saying.
That's actually what sanctuaries do. There's micro-butt chicken sanctuary, chicken micro-butt. Oh, I think I totally botched that name. Micro-butt chicken sanctuary. I think that's what it is. And she shows that you can live with chickens without using them. She even has a rooster. I don't know if she has more than one, but I know she has one. And roosters are known to, chicken microbutt. Thank you, Frisia. But roosters are known to grape the chickens. So she provides her rooster with a toy so that he gets his whatever from the doll instead of harassing the chickens. That's the mindset of a vegan, right? Is looking for the best interest of everybody that is under her care. Yeah, it's huge. When I first thought she will show that he goes to the toy, but she tries not to show him, you know. It happens sometimes. He'll just be in the background and he'll start humping I think it's a teddy bear or a chicken doll. I don't remember what it is. It's a stuffed animal of some sort. But, you know, she found a solution because she wanted peace among her residents, but she also wanted them to have their best interests looked after. And she did that. Whereas you're just taking from them without even thinking about it. Okay.
Horseback riding. How do you feel about that?
Oh, Well, Lori, do you want to talk about that since that's your back, or do you want me to?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh,
I mean, go ahead.
Okay. So horses, in order for them to be a safe ride, they have to be broken. And some horses are going to be more easily trained than others because they're just like us. They have different personalities. Some are easy to control, just like humans, and some are not, just like humans. So when you get a horse that has been broken, even if they claim to be using humane tactics, not every horse is going to submit to that. So they still will have to be aggressive with this horse because the point is the horse needs to know that they are not the ones in control, that they must submit to whoever, to any human, they must submit. So that takes a lot to wear down someone's mental capacity so that they, even as a larger being, feel like a sub to the dominant human. So what they'll do is they'll like tie the horse's head so that it's to their shoulder, and then they'll knock the horse over and sit on them so that they feel powerless.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so hard for me because I'm still questioning some things.
Well, for the horses, when we look at horses that are free roaming and in the wild, do you ever see anyone or anything riding on a horse's back in the wild?
Absolutely not.
Never. If it was something that a horse wanted, wouldn't they carry their young on their back or something? To me, it's so obvious that horses don't want to be ridden because they don't choose to be ridden when they're absolutely free.
Yeah.
And that right there says it all.
It can also they can get back problems. And
they do get back problems. Actually,
for sure. Yes.
You should look up Bite Size Vegan. She has a great video breakdown about horseback riding and there's a lot of excuses that people that use horses have because they'll claim the horse consents. As I saw in the chat, they'll claim the horse wants to be ridden. You know, if the horse isn't ridden, they get worked up and angry. It's like you can provide them exercise and entertainment without getting on their back. But you like the oppression, you like that you benefit from this, so you purposely climb on their back. You strap them in like they're BDSM. And then you literally have to squeeze them or hit them to get them to go.
Yeah. And unfortunately the horse industry, just riding in general, I would say most of it is pretty bad. Is really bad.
Well, I mean,
with treatment and just in general.
Yeah, we're seeing a sentient being, someone who has their own purpose and wants to be free, and we're seeing them being enslaved and turned into an object. And of course, people, when you have an object and you're frustrated, you're not going to treat an object always very kindly. So when we objectify animals, a lot of times they do get harmed because they're not viewed as independent, sentient. They're viewed as you're a tool and you're not doing your job. That's not fair. Yeah. Well, all right. I guess if What the Floof doesn't want to come up here, I didn't see their comments though. People? What the Floof, you're actually tokenizing a group of people to defend your choices. That's gross. Okay? If you're Native American, then the question comes down for you, is it about survival or culture? And I would argue that no culture justifies using someone. And if it's survival, necessity is one thing, but it's still not moral. It's justified. I would never ask someone to harm themselves. Nika! Oh my gosh, I just saw you. Have you been in here the whole time? I didn't see your name. How come I didn't see your name? Oh, Nika, it's good to see you.
Hey, so, I wanted to, can you guys hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to comment on both things. So because the eggs are category area. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And so for me, it's I don't want to eat eggs, or I don't think people should still be doing that because for me, for being vegan is also like connecting to like nature. Like I'm very much like a hippie girl, and so it's like I want to live like one with nature, not so like without disturbing as much as like humanly possible. So I don't like need to eat the eggs. Like the eggs could go to like the chickens back because I hear like the chickens can eat the eggs, and also, or maybe the eggs could go to something else. And it's like I don't need them. I can survive off of whatever, so I don't need to like personally have them. And I don't think like I should be like necessarily like keeping them. Or I shouldn't be like keeping them to sell the eggs because it's like just let them like be. Because like I said, I feel like that's what I believe in is just like living with nature. I don't think we should be taking from it just for our wants. We don't have that being a necessity.
Exactly.
And then also about the horses, yeah, I'm against that because of like one, the horse race industry. Actually, the horses can go off to be in the meat industry, not for the U.S. consumption, but for other countries' consumption.
Yeah.
That happens. And Kelly, I recommend you watch videos on that on like PETA, and also like I think some other animal organizations could talk about it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're recognizing that we don't need to exploit anyone, right, to live. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like horses and backyard chickens are these areas that people think are gray, but they're really quite clear. The only one that I've really even seen close to gray, but I still see it as immoral, is someone rescuing chickens and then they claim to be eating the eggs. But it's like, I understand that you're not demanding this chicken be born into existence, but you're still seeing them as a resource, and that, you know, whatever comes off of them is yours. And yeah, it's just not the case. You should think of it as like, what do you want to do with this egg? And I understand you can't genuinely ask them, but you can give it to them, or, you know, if you're moving it away because you're worried about maybe it has some health considerations if it gets old and they haven't eaten it, but yeah, it's theirs, not yours. It's their best interest that you should always consider. Well, I guess what the let's see, just because some people mistreat animals does not mean all do. You're stealing someone's freedom. You don't even need to have chickens. That's what we're saying. You're demanding someone be born into existence for you to use. So if a chicken passes away, let's say you don't turn them into soup, you just let the chickens die in the field. Are you going to replace that chicken? Where do you get these chickens? We went over this. Do you get them from a hatchery? Do you get them from a small farm? Either source, where are all the males? They typically won't have, so the way evolution works, you should have a male for every female. Like if you go into a grocery store and you pick up a dozen eggs, that means one chicken laid each one of those eggs, right? And for every egg-laying hen, she had a brother ground up. Yeah. Hey, Mobius, I see you too, by the way. I saw you saying hello. It's good to see you in the live. Mobius is one of the people that watches my YouTube videos, so it's kind of cool to see a mix of my audiences.
YouTube?
Well, I take these lives and I post them the next day on YouTube so that they can just stay up there and stuff. Yeah. And I used to clip them up, but it takes so much of my time. So I've just been posting them fully, and then I make bookmarks so you can like skip to just the conversations. Man, nobody wants to come up. Everybody's vegan in here. I guess it is down to 19. Well, maybe TikTok's just telling me it's time.
Well, Josh Betty isn't vegan with what they just said.
Okay, come on up, Josh. Excuse me. I do see you love steak and hamburgers. We have vegan versions. You don't have to use animals for those. Let's see if I can, I don't know if I can invite them from here, can I? Yeah, I don't know. Ah, I wish I knew my tools better.
I don't know how to invite people.
Thanks for the coins.
Oh, here we go. Oh no, never mind. Dang.
I didn't like the way my tone sounded in that. Thanks for the coins. I didn't like my sound. Like,
I think you've been doing
You
great.
can
I think you're. Go ahead, Ciara.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think you've been doing fine. Your sound was fine.
Who were you trying to invite up?
I was gonna invite the person that just said, oh, Josh Betty.
Because you can just go to the like viewers list and invite people up that way.
So the desktop doesn't let me do that, which is so weird. Let's see.
Oh
I'll put
wow.
this in the YouTube.
I don't see them though.
Okay. Yeah, that's so weird. I'm sure there is a spot that's like right in my. Oh, maybe it's this thing. Let's see. I'm gonna try one more thing. Where are you? I have a list of who is in here. Oh, maybe they left. I don't see them now. Oh, okay, I can't. Oh. Oh, maybe I figured it out. No. Multi-guest? Oh, I figured it out. What the floof, I invited you. I'm sure they're going to say no, though, but...
She can't. Yeah, I actually know her.
Oh,
and I
okay.
didn't realize it at first because I didn't recognize her at. So I was actually just typing that in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
She actually just got out of the hospital and everything. She was hurt. So yeah, I do know how much you love and care for your animals, but it's also a call on morality and everything that's been stated previously.
No, exactly. It's about the individual and what they're experiencing. Dang. Well, it looks like, I'd say like 90% of the people in here are vegan. I appreciate you guys being here, though. Oh my God. I feel so loved right now. Thank you, guys. Well, I guess I'll just call it there. I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you to my vegan panel. Everyone should go follow all of these vegans. We've got Smiles, not Smile, but Smiles. Okay, everyone should go check out Smiles. I'm also going to go follow you, Smiles. I've got Ciara. Sorry, my thing is opposite, so it's like I have to look at the screen. Ciara, vegan foodie. Oh my gosh, she reviews delicious vegan foods. She also has some of them on her shop. And she reviews other things too, but she is a great voice speaking up for injustices, not just animals, but definitely focused on animals. So appreciate you, Ciara. And then Lori, we've got Lori Licht here. Why do I keep doing that now? I'm going to second guess myself every time. Lori Licht. And she is amazing, has such a background. If you ever get a chance, please ask her about it. I just want to share your story all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah, you just have such a diverse, you have the background that, like, I don't know, you can relate with almost anybody, I feel like. So I really like having you up here. You're such a, and you're such a light. You have such a great way of reaching people. Thank you.
Yeah, I love being here.
And Kelly, thank you for being here. I don't know if I've actually ever had you up on, have you been on the panel before? I know that we were.
No, I've requested in previous lives before, but I think there was always like a long wait list. But
well, I'm so sorry that I delayed our meeting because you're amazing.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It was, I wasn't vegan at that point. It was because of the live and because of what you were saying that I changed,
Kelly, oh my God. Please
it's hard with
keep coming back.
I will say it's hard with the horses though. That's tough for me because I used to ride horses. And I love horses a lot and I formed a deep bond with my horses, but I never thought of it in that aspect.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a lot of things in the horse industry that I just don't agree with. There are specific people.
You should talk with Lori sometime. Lori used to green break horses, which is, I don't know, Lori, if you want to say a little bit about it, about what that is.
Oh yeah, it's just like when people put them out to pasture for a month, the months of the summer or winter, and then they want them, to be able to be ridden in the summer. So they would kind of get a little wild, and you just have to go back in and retrain them about what's going on and what to do with the saddle and everything, and just kind of get them back in the mental mode of being ridden.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah, my friend, she said she can join in like 2 minutes, but it's obviously you're live, so I don't want to.
Well, I guess. How's everyone else feel? Does everyone else want to hang out for like
I'm
2
okay,
minutes?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and keep going. I'll wait for this one person, but after that, I probably will call it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I would love to talk to What the Floof. If they're a genuine person, I am down with talking to someone genuine.
She is.
Okay, cool. Right on. Yeah, would love to talk to you. What the Floof. Yeah. But yeah, I would totally suggest talking to Lori. Lori has a great background, but also I'll send you, there's a couple videos. There's Bite Size Vegan, and then I can't remember the other lady's name. It's Renee something. She used to also be a horse trainer, and she talks about what she learned through that horses don't deserve this, and that they're sentient, and riding on their back is really just oppression. So yeah, but it does help to have videos to break that down, because I also was under the mindset that like horses are consenting. It just always seemed like they're just, okay, yeah, get on my back. Like they don't fight you on it, right? So it seems like they're consenting, but really they're just submitting. So
yeah, and they really could buck you off if they wanted to, but
then what happens to them after that? If they buck you off,
Yeah.
what happens? Yeah, they either will get whipped, or they'll be isolated, or they have someone like Lori come in and green break them so that they are tolerant and obedient again. But
She requested.
Oh, I don't see her. I'll do it this way too. Let's see if.
Yeah, I don't either. I invited her as well.
Oh yeah, it says that she's already invited. Oh, yeah, I don't see you. That's weird. Are you sure you requested? I don't know. I also invited you. I don't know why it's not working. It says cancel request and waiting. Maybe cancel. There should be an accept. It won't let me request you anymore. I've already sent you too many requests, I guess.
Yeah, try to go cancel out and then request back in.
Yeah, it doesn't show me you requesting at all. I can see that you're here, though. I see you in the list. I don't see you in the request list, though. Oh, there we are. Hey.
There we go. Am I in?
Yeah, welcome up, What the Floof.
Cool. I just want to say, it's hard, like, when you're in the chat and you put things, I feel like when people read them, sometimes they read it with a tone of their perspective versus the tone of what you mean. So it does help to hear a voice, for sure.
Yes,
so,
I do agree.
Like, I'm glad to be able to hop in. My husband got home, was able to take my toddler, and so I can talk. Because if he talks in the background, I don't want it to flag your live for having a child in it. That's why. So I was just trying to be respectful in that regard. The horse thing, it is such a hard gray area, because when I grew up, I was in the English writing, and I saw them do the big lick, and as a little kid, I didn't really know what they were doing. Knowing about it now, I am 100% against the mistreatment of horses. But I also have friends who breed and raise horses out here. I live in the West in Colorado, and they train horses in the most beautiful way, where it's such a good partnership, and there is no whipping and beating and tying and laying on them and things like that. And when it's just like when you get a dog, do you beat your dog when you get it, or do you train it in a positive way?
That's actually a great analogy.
Yeah.
So do you think that people should buy dogs as accessories, or do you think they should adopt someone who needs help?
Well, adopting it is still perpetuating the dog ownership.
Yes, but
So yes,
so
I think that they
hold
should
on.
adopt.
So
Yes.
animals are here, the companion animals are here because we've bred so many of them, so much so that they have
Yep.
now gotten out and they're reproducing out there, but they're still domesticated,
Mhm.
so they can't really care for themselves. Some of them survive, but
Yep.
most of them will, have horrible suffering lives because we
Yes.
have mutated them. So I do think that companion animals are a mess that humans should be taking care of because we are the ones that handicapped these individuals,
Yes.
horses, dogs, cats, all of them.
Mhm.
And so when you're breeding horses, you're demanding someone be forced into existence in a world where we already have too many animals to start with.
Correct.
Second of all, when you're getting a horse, most people don't adopt a horse because they want to just care for someone. They adopt a horse because they want to ride them. And the only way
Yes.
for that individual to be safe is if they know that they are the sub in your relationship. It's not a
Mhm.
partnership. They have to do what you say. And if they don't, there are repercussions. They could lose their lives or their home. So already you're stealing someone's
That does
freedom.
occur in cases.
It happens all the time. There is very rarely does someone adopt a horse just to care for them. And if they did, it's a rescue, right? It's a sanctuary where they're saving them from the exploitation. Riding
So I work
them.
directly with a rescue out here. They're a full circle of life rescue,
Why don't
and that's
horses
very
have
rare
why don't horses have anyone ride their back when they're wild?
because they're in the wild, and those horses are
No,
being
no.
rounded up
Why
by
aren't
helicopters.
horses? You're not listening to my question.
Okay.
When horses are free to do whatever they want, why do they not carry anyone or anything on their back?
They actually do.
Like what?
There's a symbiotic relationship in the animal world. Like
Uh-huh.
you'll see, depending on where in the world the
What
horses
animal
live.
rides
And
them?
well, it could be birds, monkeys, like all sorts of different things. There are very fun pictures of it. But
No.
what I want to say,
No. No,
what
no,
I
no,
was
no.
saying,
What
and
the
I want
floof?
to,
You're distracting from the point. That is not a symbiotic relationship. Monkeys do not ride horses. That is not common. And if they are, they're doing it in a way that they're not asking, they're just jumping on them. The horses probably don't like a monkey on their back. I doubt horses are like, oh, someone's on my back, I'll take you where you need to go. That's silly. That's silly. And if it was something that benefited horses, why don't they carry their young? They don't. Horses don't want to be ridden. We take them from their home, we break them, and I understand you think it's a beautiful thing, but it's basically telling someone you don't have rights. I get to tell you where to go and what to do. And it's fine to care for someone in their best interest when that's the case, but you're doing it so that you can use them. It's not the same thing. There are people that rescue horses, they don't ride them. Look up Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. They have lots of horses. They never ride them. They entertain them in other ways. You can give them entertainment and, whatever they need without getting on their back. That's the point. Do you understand what I mean? Like, do you want to carry someone on your back?
I think she's muted, right?
Oh, you can't unmute yourself? You should be able to unmute.
no, I wasn't able to unmute. Someone muted me. So when I can't finish
It should
my
unlock.
thought and sentence, and only you get to, it's not really a good discussion. I
I
didn't
know,
get to finish
but
the
you
sentence I
aren't
was saying.
listening. You're just focused.
Well, neither were you.
You're focused on welfare. You're focused on
Okay.
welfare.
I wanted
I'm telling
to bring
you.
up something.
Wait. Before you do, I just want to ask you: do you agree that human slavery is immoral?
Yes.
Okay. Even if it benefits the rest of the world greatly, reduces environmental issues, brings down the cost of goods, do you still agree it's immoral?
I do believe that, yes.
Okay, so you agree then that the individual's capacity to suffer, the fact that this individual is losing their freedom, matters more than the benefits it provides, right?
That's human on human, which is different
So
from
why
an
is
animal.
it okay to do this to horses?
Am I harming the horse that I own by giving it the best veterinary care, food,
Am I
care,
harming
everything.
a human when I provide them the best veterinary care, when I provide them the best food? Do you see what you're saying?
Would you say that in slavery, that they take care of the humans
They
or
do
that they treat
sometimes.
them poorly?
Sometimes they take really good care of them.
I've not seen that personally or seen any evidence
They
of that.
exist.
However, that could exist.
There were
Okay.
people that were enslaved that were given allowances that could go into the world and buy things and then come back to the place they were enslaved because they were still property.
Okay. Would you allow me to finish the thought on the horses that I was trying to say earlier when
Well,
someone
so do
muted
you
me?
agree though that enslavement, no matter how comfortable, enslaving someone without their consent, that's immoral?
In the human world,
Even
because
if
you're
it was
bringing up
super
human
nice.
versus animal.
Even if it was
well,
super
in
nice.
the human world, it is unethical.
Okay, so why? So do you care about animals' capacity to suffer?
Yes, and I don't allow my animals to suffer.
Do you understand that animals are sentient, humans are sentient?
Yes.
Do you understand
They're
that sentient beings, do you understand that sentient beings all share the want to be free as we all have our own purpose? Do you understand that?
I do not believe that all animals have the capacity.
I'm sorry, I'm so disappointed in you right now. That is so sad. I'm kind of done with her. Does anybody else would like to speak to her?
I
Yeah,
would
can
just
I
love
say
the
something
opportunity
about
to
what
finish
they were
my
saying?
sentence.
Hold
Like
on
that
one
I
second.
haven't been allowed to.
I know what the floof. I'll stop talking. If someone else wants to talk to you, they might let you talk. Does anybody else like to speak with her?
I was just going to bring something up.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself.
But I do want to be clear because I didn't hear the end of her statement. Did you say that you don't believe all animals have the capacity to suffer? What the floof?
No, that is not what I said.
Okay, can you finish that statement first?
Yes, I said I don't believe that all sentient beings understand the difference between captivity and being wild. So, like your pet dog that you have
That doesn't
doesn't
mean that it's
understand.
okay.
No, I didn't say that it wasn't okay or not. I haven't been able to finish a single
Because
sentence.
we know where you're going with this, right? You're
No, but
advocating
you
for
don't because you're not
welfare.
allowing me to finish.
No, we do
So,
because we
what
have
about a
these
service dog?
conversations all the time,
So, a service
right?
dog
So,
is trained, right? Did it get to choose
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Did it get to choose whether it wanted to be trained as a service dog or not?
No, he didn't.
Okay, but you take care of him and you love him.
it doesn't matter. It's still exploitation.
So we need to let them all go.
No,
That
no,
you
no. No
shouldn't
one
force a dog
said
to be a
that.
service dog.
No one said that, and that's a straw man. Okay?
Okay. May I
So,
speak on the horses
no,
then that are
because you're
already
not letting
domesticated?
us talk,
I
right? You're
keep
not
getting
letting us
muted. I
talk. You
haven't
just
finished a
keep.
single thought
No,
because
you
you guys
have
keep cutting
finished
me
your
off.
ideas. You just
No, I
keep going
haven't.
to another hypothetical
No,
or
I got
another
muted
whatever.
and it took off to a completely different topic when I was trying to finish talking about the rescue with the horses and then
I
I got
haven't
muted
even
for
been
5
able to
minutes.
finish my point.
Okay. I see this as probably going nowhere.
Yeah.
So as much as
Oh
I would
my
love to have a
God.
discussion,
That's
well, no, you guys keep
wild.
muting me. Like
I'll
was going to
talk. I'll
talk.
talk to her. I'll talk to
I
her.
haven't I haven't muted you the past 2 minutes and I've been trying to finish what I was going to say. I asked you to finish your statement so that I could bring up another hypothetical, but you just kept bringing up more hypotheticals.
I was going back to the original that I got muted on, that's all. But go ahead. I would like to hear what you would like to ask and I won't speak until you say you're done.
Great. So do you believe in dog breeding? Are you
No.
okay with the dog breeding industry?
No.
Okay, why?
Because there are far too many dogs unless here is the situation there. If people need a service dog or a dog for their family that they know has been very
All right, I'm
specifically
not talking about service dogs, right? I'm just
well,
talking
it's
about
part of it.
the dog, just talking about the dog breeding industry because people
I
want to
don't
breed dogs and because they want a certain kind of dog and they want a dog.
There is a problem, a big problem there. There are
Okay.
instances where people need a dog to be bred
Okay.
perfectly for their
I
situation, but backyard breeding, absolutely not. I don't think anybody should have the right to just be breeding left and right because we have shelters overflowing 100%.
Okay, is it only because there's a overpopulation problem, or is there anything else about it that you don't like?
Well, one could argue that the dogs are being forced to breed against their will if they're doing ICSI and things like that, where they're forcing a female to become pregnant when the female shouldn't.
Right. Yes, they are. They're always, you know, forced to become pregnant. And like you said, there is an overpopulation problem, so all dogs should be spayed and neutered because we humans have created the problem, right?
Right.
But
Yep.
how is
Sorry, it
that
just
any
rained in through a
different
window in my house. So apologies if there's loud noises.
Okay, how is that any different from the horse breeding industry?
I don't like the horse breeding industry. All of my horses have been rescues.
From where?
From Colorado Horse Rescue Network and from locally where people were going to take their horse to auction to a slaughterhouse, or I took it in.
You said your
So then you
friend breeds
train them
horses.
to,
She had mentioned that her friend trains horses, quote, beautifully. Just to be
right.
clear.
She does it without whipping, mistreating. So you can use positive reinforcement to train a horse the same way
So
you
you're not
So
positively
you
against.
are
reinforce to train a
okay.
dog.
Yeah.
So you are okay with the horse breeding industry.
I didn't say I was. I said that when someone said that all horses are treated badly to breed them or to
Then
train
why
them,
didn't,
I was saying that they're not all
yeah, but
treated badly.
that's not what we're arguing though. See what I mean? That's welfare. That's not what we're arguing. We're not saying, oh, it's okay if they're treated nicely, because I could make the same argument for dogs who have been bred into existence, right? I could
The
make that same
statement was
argument. Oh,
specifically
but
that
they're,
all
hold
horses
on
are
and let me
mistreated.
finish.
Okay.
Oh, but they're treated so nicely. They're beautiful dogs, and it's okay because they're treated nicely. That's not the point. The point is that the industry is exploitative. And by supporting horses or the horse breeding industry, you're also normalizing the horse racing industry,
When did
which
I
is
say I supported
extremely
horse breeding?
exploitative.
I just said I had a friend who breeds them so that she has them young. So I was letting you know that from a young
That's
age,
horse
from birth, it
breeding.
is possible to, because if you don't make sure that the horse is trained well, they can actually unalive people
Oh, yeah.
that walk up on them.
Yeah,
So you have to do a certain
you don't want
incentive.
independent horses. You need horses that will submit to you, that will actually, so it's not about consent. It's about forcing those that are easier to dominate. Either that's why you breed them. Can't have horses that will have their own personalities that don't want to be ridden, right?
Oh, they easily do.
Oh,
They can easily have their own.
all horses like to be ridden?
No,
Oh,
no, I said they can easily
exactly.
have their
They
own
don't.
personality.
I
That's
am
not what I
so
said.
frustrated right now.
That is
Look,
not what I
the thing
said. I
is,
said all horses can
look,
have a
look,
personality
the
without
point
training them.
is no one should be breeding anyone into existence. Horses are not here for you, the floof. Horses are not
That's
here
not
for
what
you
I
to get on their
said.
back. You
I'm
shouldn't be
having
riding
words
on
put in my mouth.
horses. You get on horses for your benefit and your benefit only. If those horses didn't want to be ridden, what would you do?
So, okay, can I go back to the very initial
No,
Kelly, go
we're
ahead and say
done.
what you were going to.
No.
We're done. She is just constantly shifting the goalpost. Just
Yes.
shift.
Yes.
Like, no.
She is blatantly defending the horse breeding industry. That's so wild.
I mean, within the same breath of saying, I don't support it, but yet my friend does it the right way. So you do support it.
Exactly.
Talking out two sides of your mouth.
If you truly only supported rescuing horses, you would only rescue the horses that needed to be rescued, and they would be in a sanctuary. Like, you wouldn't support your friend breeding her horses so that she can train them and break them from a young age. Like, are you listening to yourself?
Exactly. Like, that sounds like predatory language. Get them while they're young. Creepy.
Yeah.
You're talking about taking someone's baby so that you can do what you want with their body and they'll be more submissive to you. How do you not hear how this is exploitation to the max?
Yeah, what the floof? I don't think you actually had a full thought out thought, to be honest. It sounds like you already just think I deserve this and you don't actually have a reason. You just kept talking about, well, sometimes they're treated really well. Sometimes, some people, but you're not talking about yourself. You don't need to do this to
Let you,
horses.
and to say we haven't let you finish thoughts is just ridiculous. We have let you talk and talk and talk, and like Vegan Stoner Lady said, shift the goalpost constantly, and we could barely get it word in edgewise. That's why we were muting you.
Yeah, I wanted you to listen instead of just responding. Like, I think that you do agree with us and that right now it's a cognitive dissonance. You want to ride your horses, but you do recognize that causing unnecessary harm to someone, animals or humans, unnecessarily, causing them harm is not moral. I know you agree with me, but then you have this thing that is opposite of that you benefit from, and it's really hard to let go of that. That's called cognitive dissonance. That's why it's uncomfortable. That's why you can't let us talk. That's why you can't, like actually have a good defense. All you can say is some people do it right, which is not even true. You're still stealing someone's freedom. Just because someone was young and didn't understand what freedom was, that doesn't make their enslavement moral.
Exactly. And we had to stop you because you kept going for welfareism, right? You kept talking about welfareism. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the exploitation of sentient beings. That in itself is completely different from, oh, but they're treated nicely. They're still being exploited, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the eradication of using sentient life, not, oh, but it's okay because they're treated nicely. So we have to correct that. We can't just let you continue to go off on those tangents.
Yeah. To be clear, too, the reason why welfare is not our friend, we saw in human exploitation, welfare always delayed their liberation. People, there were welfarists for slavery and there were abolitionists for slavery. Welfarists wanted slaves to be treated better, have more comfort. That's what you're arguing for. You have slaves that you care for and give comfort to, but they're still slaves. We are abolitionists. We're saying you don't even need to have slaves. There's no reason to make a slave comfortable. You don't need them. Let them take care of themselves. Animals, we have sadly gone further and handicapped them. That's what domestication is. We made it so that they are reliant on us. So as Ciara pointed out, we should have them no longer procreate, care for those that are here. No longer let these handicapped individuals be forced into existence just to benefit us. So yeah, your children, right? If I had a child and I'm like, you know what, this child's here because of me, I'm just going to use them as my human slave. Wouldn't that be immoral? Even though they're from me?
People do exploit their children online a lot. They're young kids. You can't legally consent until they're like 18 years old.
That's actually
even if they say like, yeah, you can't, like, it's not like legal. Not that that's what we're talking about.
No, but you're absolutely right. No, child labor is a great example because children are moral patients just like animals, right? They may not understand morality. They may understand morality. They're just sentient. And they deserve moral consideration, right? Child labor is wrong because we're taking advantage of someone who may not fully understand. We're taking from them and we're like kind of tricking them because they don't know what they're agreeing to. Children can't agree to like marriage, right? They don't know what marriage is. They don't know going into work steals their ability to learn how to be an adult. So that's why child labor is wrong. We should look at children as another human that needs support and, has their own purpose.
Floof is still in the chat saying, I never got to share the beautiful relationship animals can have with people.
It's really telling,
That's
Floof.
wild.
It's really telling that you can't even say your points in the chat. No one's interrupting you. Just say it. Instead, all you do is you've gone meta. You sit there and complain about the conversation instead of the topic. It's a very low level way to debate because you're not arguing against veganism. You're arguing that we're not fair to you. So you're still not debunking veganism. You should not use someone without their consent. period. That's just the way it is. You don't need to get on a horse's back. They cannot consent. They don't even understand what's going on. If anything, they think they have to do this.
And like, I'll be completely honest, that's horseback riding's the hardest thing for me to get a handle over too, because I did it for quite some time.
Well, do you have horses right now?
No, I don't at all.
Okay.
I never did. I just rode the
So
stable horses.
it's not about your past. It's not about, maybe you didn't understand. I rode horses too. There was a time when I thought I used to call myself vegan long before I actually went vegan, because I didn't understand what veganism meant. So I actually went on this trip, and I actually went on a horseback ride that haunts me to this day, because the horse I was on was like clearly tired, did not want to do this. I mean, the horse wasn't bucking or anything. The horse was just tired and like stumbled even at one point because they were just so exhausted. And they live in my mind now forever, because they were forced to go beyond their comfort for me. And it wasn't abusive. I didn't kick them. I didn't beat them. No one beat the horse in front of me at all. The horse looked like it had a nice home, lots of land to go just walk around on.
Yeah, it's about us as people.
Exactly. Like, I didn't need to get on their back. They were put in that position because of me. And if a wild, free horse doesn't do this regularly, then why would they do it for us just out of nowhere?
Yeah. And the thing is, she also brought up service animals. I do have a service dog. I did train my own service dog. So that's another thing that I've fallen into.
So the thing with service animals, it's still slavery. You're enslaving that dog, to be very clear. That dog didn't get to choose to be your helper. The perspective, though, that I would come from is, if you were in their position, what would you accept as the excuse to use you without your consent? If someone was in medical need and you could help them, but they can't ask your consent, what would you tolerate? And people that already have these animals, I want to be clear that it's tough, because I understand your quality of life will greatly change, and that's not fair. So there is an argument for necessity, but going to a breeder to ask for someone to be born into existence, without even thinking about it, versus what you did. You have a friend that you trained. That's at least you're considering that individual more than most people would that get help from animals. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do.
It's one of those situations. It's kind of like that mother we had up here earlier, who has the kid that is on the spectrum and has ARFID. And it's like, I'm never going to ask anyone to harm themselves, but ask, like, how imperative do I need to do this? Is this a life and death or a great quality of life change? And if it is, and you can't live without it, I say take like a life-saving medicine, and it was tested on someone, I would say take the medicine, but advocate for those that you now have to use in order for you to have a quality of life, and try to look for alternatives when you can, if they exist, being active about it. And it's not about someone checking in on you if you're doing it. It's about you. Do you want to change and try to avoid using them? Sorry if I yapped on there too long.
Oh, that's okay. No, it makes sense.
It's such a touchy subject. That's why I talk so much about it, because
it really is. It's very, very, very touchy.
I don't blame people that are in need of the animals. I'm more upset that the industry hasn't found another solution and is heavily still relying on dogs. What kind of happens is we use animals as a solution, and then they don't look for an alternative. They just we have a solution, that's it. So we just need people to make the demand for an alternative, and something will happen. But does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. If you have questions too, you can hit me up. I don't want you to feel attacked or anything. We're just talking about, the animal's perspective, and just always bearing that in mind, doing things in their best interest. It's fine to be friends with someone, and it's fine if friends help each other. So.
Yeah, because I would sit here and I would say it's weird, because there are some people who work with their dogs who are just, regular pets, Have you ever seen the dogs use the buttons to like talk and with that kind of stuff? Like that dog is that dog able to actually give consent? Like would we say yes?
I wouldn't say consent because a child that can speak, right, can say, yes, I
Mm.
want to get married, but they don't really understand. But it is still great that we provide that if you can provide your companion a way to communicate in some fashion, that's still
Yeah, because it's still
closer.
being studied very hard right now. I mean,
Right.
Bunny the talking dog, like that's who I follow. It's being followed and studied currently right
Yeah.
now about a dog's ability or other animals' ability to actually form complete thoughts and sentences and communicate that to their person.
Yeah.
So
There's even AI, there's people working with AI to try to decipher animal language. They're working specifically mostly on sperm whales, but they're also expanding like to elephants, and there was one other animal that they showed in the video, but they're starting to get some kind of vocabulary so they know what these sounds are that are going back and forth, and that would be great. That would make a huge difference if we could understand them. In fact, I've had a question before that said, if animals could say no, would you still use them? And a lot of people still said they would. I was disgusted.
yeah, I mean, like if my dog had a way to say no and he didn't want to do it, I wouldn't force him to.
Right.
Absolutely would not. But like, am I forcing him to kind of do something for me right now? Yes. So I mean, I'm being genuine here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was trained, and does he get excited to go out and work? He, in my opinion, he does. He gets mad and upset and cries when I leave him behind because he wants to be with me. But does
Yeah.
that mean he just wants to be with me? Or
Yeah,
does that
you
mean
guys,
he
it
wants to
sounds like
work?
you do have a
Like
bond. It does sound like you have a bond.
And it's,
I'm sure
I
that
think,
that dogs do have fun learning things, and they love to do
yeah,
things, especially when they make their parents happy. Like
yeah,
I feel like dogs are very, yeah. So it just comes down to you respecting their sentience. I understand that
yeah,
they're going to do things for you, but maybe sometimes respecting when they don't want to do that, depending on what it is that you need, of course. If it's life-saving, I'm going to say make the dog help you, of course. But honestly, my main push it is a tough situation, but my main push would be to constantly look for alternatives. But, and just try to be vegan in every aspect of your life that you can.
yeah.
And don't provide using a dog to non-vegans as a loophole for them to feel less guilty, because that's what they ultimately do. They start to tokenize you or people of other populations that have similar obstacles where, they will probably, some people have to cross their principles and use animals to survive.
Yeah, and I think what the floof, she has a tremendous heart. I know it was a little rough in the discussions, but I do want to speak just on that aspect, just because I know her personally. But I don't speak for her, so I'll say that too. I don't speak for her at all. And I'm not using her name because I want to respect that as well.
Yeah, no, don't. I don't want her to. What's that called? Yeah, I don't want to do that to her.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, that's all I just. That's all I just want to say about that.
Yeah,
Is
no,
that
that's
she does.
she spoke kindly, and I understand that we interrupted her a lot. That's the way if you understand, we're talking about someone's rights and your right over their body. And it's easy for me to get upset because I personally would not tolerate your excuses to violate my body. I don't care if I'm less smart than you. I don't care if I provide you some kind of, thank you, yeah, docs. I don't care if I provide you some kind of benefit. I don't want you on my back, right? And I'm sure you would agree, you don't want people to steal you out of your home or take your baby and make your baby be ridden all the time, right?
Yeah, I don't want someone to tell me what to do without asking me first.
Exactly.
Because I have the ability to say yes and no.
Yeah.
Can I comment? Because I've been like quiet.
Please. Yeah, no, please do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're good. So what I was gonna say was that like, and this is just coming from like my my passion and everything. It's just like she was up here and she was like, I'm against like the horse industry, like I'm against things they do, like, but then you're saying that you're for breeding, like in the horse industry, like your friend does it, like you're for that, you're okay with that, like why would you be okay with that? Why would you be okay with them?
And maybe she didn't get a full
horses?
chance to say like I do or I don't support that.
She did say.
Well, they said their friend does it, and that their friend does it in a good way, apparently.
A beautiful way. Which I don't know how you beautifully
Also,
force
host,
someone to be
hear
pregnant. You.
Oh. She's just like chatting away.
It's just how do you beautifully make some? I know she wanted to explain this. I don't want her to explain it because there isn't a way. I understand that she might mention there's a male and he mounts the female, but you're still creating a situation where you're like purposely putting them together so that they make something so that you benefit from this union. It's not about free choice. It's about you benefiting from them. That's gross. Your friend, also, beautiful way, that's still gross.
Yeah, and also, right, like she was saying that like some horses or some animals don't understand like if they're in captivity or not. Okay, but if you want the best for the horses, like let them live in the wild. Why are we creating them and having industries make them so that we can ride them? This is all about your benefits. And then she even like told on herself when she was like, oh, well, you want them to be able to be broken. Or she didn't say. I don't think she said the word broken, but she was like, you want them to be able to like have the humans approach them because otherwise they'll just attack the humans because they're a wild animal. Like they don't have to be approached by these humans. Why is that a part of their life, a part of their needs in life, their behavior? It has to happen. It has to happen because you want that. You want a domestic horse. You want a horse to ride. This doesn't have to exist. There doesn't have to be a domestic horse for you. This is all for your selfish want. And yes, I said selfish because it ultimately is a selfish want.
It is. That's all what riding is too in general. I understand if you didn't understand this before, but like horses don't want to be ridden. And the only reason why they do tolerate being ridden is just because they've been forced to be told, this is how it is. You accept this. This is the only way you get entertainment and exercise. So of course some of them will be eager because they're like, I want to go play, right? This is the only way that I can go play. But really, they could go play without someone on their back. You can throw a ball. You can teach them how to play fetch. You can have them just run around the field, right? There are other options. I would suggest if you genuinely do want to go vegan and maybe horses are an issue, reach out to the Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. Renee is such a sweet lady. She's not me. She's a sweet, sweet lady. And she has a mission to help people that are using animals for agriculture, but also probably entertainment. I imagine horses. She has a lot of rescued horses. She could help. But she helps farmers transition away from using animals for profit. But she would be a great resource, or anybody that works with her to talk to about horseback riding. I mean, Lori also is a great resource, but I don't know if Lori wants everyone reaching out to her, but.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, she's also got great stories if you want to reach out to Lori and ask her. But Rowdy Girl Sanctuary, they might be also able to point you in the direction of resources. How can I care for my horse, in a way that doesn't exploit them and still provides them their entertainment and enrichment? But anyway, all right. Well, I think I'm going to call it there, guys. I think I've yapped enough. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing my voice. How's everyone feeling?
All right. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah? Okay. Well, I think I'll call it there. I appreciate it. I do see that there's suddenly people popping in, but we're going to call it here. Yeah. Oh, Kolb, I did see you there, Kolb. If you come next time, I'll make sure you're first, or at least I'll pull you up when I see you. I'm very sorry.
I just had vegan tacos from Taco Bell.
They have vegan tacos?
Yeah, all you have to do is order from what I read online and everything, you just order the soft tacos, but you just replace the beans and I'm not a lettuce person, so I literally just ate beans and the sauce, just the classic sauce.
Dude, but people underestimate beans.
Yeah, but if you wanted to like have the lettuce, you could, or like lettuce and maybe like 2 different types of beans. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you can look up. Actually, they have a lot of, and too, like online, they have like a V, and it will tell you if it's vegetarian or like vegan. Like I think like what type of friendly, like
You can ask them
friendly on
too.
like the menu on like DoorDash, I think, and stuff like that. So check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of vegan options at restaurants that don't claim to have any vegan options. So it's kind of funny that you can like still put things together and still have a full vegan meal. But I feel like restaurants are getting much better at having like actual entrees and stuff for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge.
Well, I know Taco Bell themselves, like they do put like a V for different types, and I would just make sure it's not vegetarian.
Yeah, make sure. I don't remember if they do this or not, but I know that some places can cook their beans in animal fat. I don't know if Taco Bell does that, so that would just be something I would ask about. But usually black beans are safe. They don't usually cook those in
I
animal
think
fat.
it was Veg News that wrote about it. I didn't click the article and read a bunch about it, but I think it was Veg News that said that it was like certified like Taco Bell's menu. So
That's
I
freaking
think
awesome. That's great news.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. We need obviously more. I don't really necessarily want more vegan options. I just want the animals to be liberated, but it's good to have the options because it's less of an excuse for people to be like, oh, taste pleasure.
Yeah, I think the options are like a sign. It's like it's building up.
That's a good point. Yeah. I always point that out that vegans or people that call themselves vegan only make up 1 to 3% of the population. But like, look at all this change that's happening. So many people are still, even though they're not vegan, there's more people aware of the term vegan. There's more people eating vegan products, and obviously look at all the vegan products that exist with only 1 to 3%.
Like more demand of plant-based food. Actually, I believe I think I'm trying to think like I'm making sure I'm getting the title right. Like on that side of the family, they would be an aunt. But anyway, so they're a nurse, and they were talking about the plant-based diet, and they weren't just talking about being like a vegetarian or vegan or anything. This was a while ago when I was vegetarian, but they were talking about it just casually with everybody, talking about how they were like, oh, there's like a lot of research about how plant-based is actually really good, and how they've been eating a lot of plant-based and like not been eating a lot of eggs and stuff and different things. And I was like, oh, so you guys are starting to like turn to a lot of vegetarian and foods. Like,
Yeah, that kind of gets me too when people who brag about eating a ton of animal products go to the doctor and their doctor says you need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Yeah. But that is a lovely perk of veganism. I really wish that people would just recognize we don't need to cause animals harm. They're sentient. Just like human slavery was wrong, we shouldn't be enslaving animals.
Yeah, this conversation with What the Floof kind of reminded me, and if they're watching, this is like totally no shade.
She's right there, yeah.
No, not What the Floof, the person I'm about to mention. If this person I'm about to mention is watching, it's like not shade to them. It's just simply the fact that like I think you have to deconstruct speciesism if you are choosing like truly like being the vegan life, right? Yeah. And so I was talking to my friend who's recently been more plant-based diet and been talking about being open to like the vegan lifestyle, but they came up on the live, right? And the topic came up of dating someone who isn't vegan, right?
Yeah.
And so that topic came up, and I said, well, recently when I've decided to like that I really want to live like fully aligned with being vegan and everything, I told her, I was like, I couldn't be with someone who isn't vegan, because I want my whole house to be vegan and stuff. And even when I was vegetarian, I still wanted all my products and everything to be like vegan and everything. I still had like values over that. And so it was just like that continued. And so it was like, I just want them to be vegan. And I did try back when I was vegetarian to like meet somebody similar, and that didn't work. And now that I'm like, being like fully vegan, it's like, I can't see it a different way. I feel like this has to be that way. Cause like a lot of the world is not fighting that. And it's like, I would like my partnership to just be pretty like smooth when it comes to that. Just like pretty,
absolutely.
Like that's just expected. And so Militant, someone I follow on here, came up, and they were talking about how they were thinking that like, oh, it wouldn't work if you weren't together in that way. It probably wouldn't work if you guys don't share that.
Yeah.
And I was telling Corrupt that, I do agree with that. I think that you should align with that the best you can. I think like if you're going to be fighting for that, because this is how Militant put it, because Militant is blunt.
Yeah.
And Militant also wasn't friends with him, so Militant kind of just, you know what I mean? And so Militant was like, oh, well, like, how are you going to say, like, you're fighting for these animals and, like, you care about them, but then your partner is, like, eating their bodies? And it's not like you guys were together and, like, before you went vegan and, like, you're kind of seeing how that's going to work out or not. You have these options and you're choosing, like, the meat eater. Like, I don't get that. I don't think you should be, like, when those are aligning. And I told her, like, I agree with that. And so I hope she, like, reflects on that. I think it just has to do with the speciesism, because she was saying, oh, maybe I could be with a partner that, like, the most ethical way of having meat is, like, small farms. And I was like, no, there isn't an ethical way. And she was, like, getting upset that I was saying that. And I was like, no, there isn't an ethical way. And she's like, well, you keep interrupting me. I'm like, I'm interrupting you because I'm trying to make a point to you that your sentence that doesn't align with veganism. There isn't an ethical way for you to be like, I am a vegan and my partner is eating the ethical meat. No. If you are aligning with veganism, that's not it.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the partner eating that meat in front of you, that's like, they're eating the flesh of the bodies like you're fighting for.
I would ask that person, if that, as a vegan, I am uncomfortable watching people consume animal flesh around me. And if I did find attraction to someone who was non-vegan, for me, it would have to be that they're willing to at least listen to veganism and, like, watch a documentary. And if they don't change, I don't know if I would be open to dating them if they were like, no, I'm still going to do what I want to do. But
because they were like, oh, because Corrupt did bring up the meat industry. They were like, and again, Corrupt, I am not trying to throw shade at you, and, like, this was a public, like, conversation, like, when we had it. Right, but they did say, like, oh, well, dang it, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, okay, yeah. They were like, oh, like, they were saying, like, this is the most ethical, and I kept interrupting them, and then they were getting frustrated with that, but, they were saying, like, you know what, can you just say what you said right before that? I feel like I'm missing something, like...
Yeah, no, I would ask, if someone, it's kind of a weird situation, like, should a vegan date a non-vegan? I don't think there's a should. I think it's okay to date non-vegans, because I think vegans do need to be in the circles of non-vegans to make change. Do I think, though, that you should, like, force yourself to stay with someone that's non-vegan? No. I think that if it's genuinely your principle and they don't understand that, it's going to naturally wear away your relationship, because, I don't know, when I first went vegan, I was calling myself vegan, or I would also joke that I'm vegetarian with vegan tendencies. I didn't really think about my partner at the time and what they were doing. But when I became vegan, I don't know, it's just at a whole nother level, like you say. I wouldn't say that someone can't date a non-vegan. I just say that it would be hard, and it would hopefully be that this person is open to what you're talking about, because otherwise I don't know what you see in them, right? Like, what are their principles
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to jump on, is that they did say that they want their partner to, like, care about the meat industry, but that's what, then we went into jumping into the small farms, and that's what I was saying, no, we want abolishment. So it's like their partner eating from the small farm, that's not any better, that's not, like, morally good.
It's not moral.
That's what I was trying to get them to kind of see, you know what I mean? Like, that's not better, that's not more ethical, that's not more better, that's not like, oh, it's okay. Like, that's what I mean, is like,
no, it's not okay.
And I am going to put that out there, like, I do think that if you are wanting to fully align with being a vegan and living the most aligned with that, and you're, like, single out there, and you can just, literally, there's millions of people you can meet, and you can figure out what options you want to put in front of you, putting vegans in front of you is what you should do. I
would imagine if because I haven't been single.
That's my advice.
Yeah, I haven't been single since I was in high school, so if I lost my partner, I don't even know if I would want to date anymore, because it seems crazy out there, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not going to date anyone ever.
Yeah, it just seems...
Just going to be single forever.
Yeah, if someone naturally gravitates to me and we kind of start to hang out more, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't...
And I was sending them these lives to, like, think about, because some things they say, it's like, okay, maybe you could be, like, someone who's vegan and, like, be aligned with this and, like, live in this way. Maybe, maybe not, but just, like, throwing it at you a little bit.
Yeah.
Check it out. So I'm not saying they were saying, like, they're a vegan, but you know, that'd be nice if they were. And that was the whole topic. That was the whole conversation. So
Yeah. I know many people that have relationships with non-vegans, and it's not that they don't try with them. It's that they love this person so much that they're trying to come at it from every angle. And I respect that, and I would never say, like, you can't date that person anymore because they're not vegan yet. But me personally, how much effort do I want to put into something? I feel like it would be an uphill battle if someone was a fervent animal
for me, they have
eater.
to be vegan. That's like what I feel like choosing.
That's totally fair. Totally fair. Yep. Like I said, I don't even know if I would want to date if I even had the opportunity. So, but if I did, and someone was non-vegan in front of me and someone was vegan in front of me, I'm gonna naturally lean towards the vegan. They already know their principles and how to respect others, and I don't want to have to teach someone that. But yeah.
Exactly what you just said. Yeah, I don't want to date a man or anybody else because I am LGBTQ plus, so I don't just date men. But I don't want to date somebody that like
violates others.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
And thinks it's their right to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to. No. Well, yeah, that. But I mean, I don't want to. Like, yeah, aligning with veganism. But I mean, I don't want to date a man that. I'm just using man just because that's common. But
sure, yeah, a partner. Sure.
I don't want to date somebody that doesn't align. That like I'm hoping they'll align. And I'm showing them things, and I'm living in the hope. I'm living in the. That's not the reality. The reality is that they're not, and that might not ever change. That the reality is that this is who they are.
Yeah, I want to. You're very right. You should come at it from that perspective. You don't want to come at it from I can change someone because you never will. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It should be about like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I understand that perspective. I just don't want to. I guess when you're asking me, I just don't want someone to take what I'm saying and think that I'm making a blatant rule. I just know that there are vegans out there that are dating non-vegans, and it's not for lack of trying that they're still currently working on their partners, but you know, some outreach takes longer than others, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I'm right there with you. I just don't want to poo-poo on those vegans that do find love in other people and are actively working on them. I do think it's weird if a vegan, as a vegan, goes and dates a non-vegan and doesn't care about what their non-vegan partner does, or like you say, claims that it's, quote, ethical. That's questionable to me. That's weird. That doesn't make sense. So, because any vegan would say there's no ethical way to take someone's life. They would be like, no, my partner is harming animals, but we're working on it.
Exactly. They kept saying like, oh, it's the most ethical, it's the most ethical. I'm like, no, you're thinking it's the most ethical because you're uncomfortable with facing that because of like your, you know, whoever you know, XYZ people you know that work on that farm, like that you've met in life. Like that's.
Yeah, and even if you meet the farmers, you're not there all the time, and you don't know what goes on day to day. So.
Yeah, and like I said, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter if
that too.
Field or whatever.
You're right.
They're taking their life and everything. This is all unnecessary, and that's what veganism pushes. We can eat plants. We can survive like this. We don't need to eat the cows or anything. We want to reduce as much as possible. And also, sometimes people are like, "Do you drive?" or like because of like the bugs, you know? And it's like, I support walkable cities, so I'm pretty hippie. You're not gonna catch me there. Even there, I support walkable cities. I like the idea of me living in New York City possibly one day because of how because of how walkable it is and everything. I love that about New York City. I'm definitely into all that. So it's like.
Yeah, I like having things close by to walk to for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it there, guys. I do see that I have a couple of requests, but I'm going to call it there. Feeling like I'm drained right now. But I will be live again on Monday, 9 a.m. PDT. Do you guys have any last words before I introduce you for people to go follow you? Do you have any last words?
I got a lot of research to do.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you stuff. Yes. Well, ask me questions. I'll send you things. I know you wanted some numbers, like where I got my stats from. I have a really easy resource I can give you. So,
Kelly, look up the meat horse industry thing.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And also Christspiracy. I think you'll like that.
Yeah, I have to remember them. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Need to
everyone.
put out videos about it.
Yes. All right, everyone go follow the vegans on the panel. I lost one. I think it was Lori. Go follow Lori. Licht. She's fantastic. Follow, I don't have my names are out of order here. I've got Smiles. Go follow Smiles. Ciara Vegan Foodie. And then I've got Kelly down here. Go follow them. Strong activists. Great women. They're speaking up. Go listen to them.
I'm trying. I'm a baby. So
You're here.
You don't have to follow me if you don't want to.
No, follow her. We need her to have support. We need you to have a louder voice. I'm glad you're here. You don't need to do more than you're doing. I'm just happy you're here. Thank you for being here, Kelly.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you both. All right, well, you guys have a great day. I'll see you later. Have a good vegan day and have a safe, quiet 4th. Please consider others when you're celebrating today, okay? All right, I'll see y'all later. Have a good vegan day.